Everyone's a fag. Yeah, go on.
Fucking asshole. Okay. Thanks to Boggles for ruining the intro. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Manhood Academy Podcasting. We have with us today a lovely co-host, Boggles.
Yes, yes.
One of the worst students at Manhood Academy, if not the worst.
Yes.
We also, and unfortunately proud of that fact, which is why he remains in that position. Then we have Death by Porn, Crazy Clown, and also a resident tortilla. Recovering clown guy. Okay, so first of all, before we do anything else, I want to compliment Boggles for calling the other students first before calling me and wasting my time. So thank you, Boggles. We're starting right on time, and we're just going right into the podcast. Okay, so I want to thank you for that. That just shows your management skills are improving because I think first before you even knew what you were doing, you would call me and then spend 5 hours getting everybody together and just wasting my time completely. So I want to thank you, Boggles, for being considerate.
You're welcome.
Okay, are we all on the same page here?
Pull-ups.
Yes. What's that?
I said next up for Boggles, pull-ups.
Pull-ups.
Oh, okay.
Pull-ups, dude. Love it.
Hold on, let me close the door so I get some nice echo in here. Okay.
Well, I think I'll get the students in first and get the instructor last. I don't know. I magically figured it out today.
I'm so glad you figured it out. That should be a default setting, you figuring stuff out. Are we all on the same page here? Are we all on the podcasting topics?
Hold on. Let me take a look.
There in a second.
Fucking assholes. That's why I posted that, so you guys would be ready to just click on that.
Alright, yeah.
Oh, you did post it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Preparation. Come on, guys. Let's prepare.
I got no excuse then.
Yeah, this is part of why you guys need a schedule, because you guys are assholes and you don't prepare.
Yeah. When
you prepare, we get things rolling. Like, here's how inconsiderate you guys are. You have an audience of people that have to tolerate your voice. So, if it's like a chick, okay? The audience is like a chick. They don't know what the fuck they're doing because they're just listening. They have no blueprint. They have no plan for what's going on in the podcast. All they know is somebody's going to talk and they're either going to tune in or tune out. I know this ahead of time, so I think, oh, well, in order to keep their attention, I'm going to have to do what, Tortilla?
You have to have something ready at hand.
That's too vague. DBP, what am I going to need to have?
You're going to have to be prepared. You're going to have topics. You're going to have things to talk about.
Well, that is on the surface. What's underneath all that, Boggles? What do I need?
What do you need?
Yes, what do I need? I realize there's people that are listening right now. They're going to be listening. And I anticipate there's going to be people listening to this. So what do I need to do?
You need to make sure you have a direction and...
Okay, we're getting closer. Oh, let's go back around. Tortilla, what do I need?
Well,
I have a girl. The audience is my girl. And I'm meeting her for the first time. What do I need? To just sit there and stutter? Or just to look for my cue cards for 20 minutes?
I was going to say direction, expression.
Oh, fuck. DVP, what do I need? This is very simple. This is all part of the training. You should have this like the back of your hand. You should have these answers like the back of your hand. This is the easy part of the academy. Knowing this simple shit. What do I need, DVP?
Need to meet their needs.
Okay, that's a start. Yes, I need to do that. So then what's the next question we need to ask, Boggles?
You need to provide incentive.
Yes. Okay, but let's start from what DVP said. What did DVP say?
Meet the audience needs.
Okay, so what do I need to do next then?
You need to say something so that you can meet their needs. You can convey your reactions.
No, what do we need to, if we know, what's step one?
Meet the audience needs.
Okay, then what's step two?
Figure out how to meet their needs.
No. Tortilla, what's step two? What's step one? What's step one? DVP said what?
Meeting their needs.
Okay, what's step two?
Well, yeah, I'm stumped.
Anybody know what the next step is? I'm a little kid and I'm just trying to figure this out. So I figure out, oh, somebody has needs that we need to meet. Then what? What do we need to do next?
You explain it in a way that they understand.
No, that's part of getting there. But what's the general concept we need here? We know that this audience or this girl has some needs. Now what?
You have to meet them.
Okay, what's our next step then?
Figure out how to meet them.
Meet what?
Meet their needs.
Okay, what's our next step then?
Get it rolling. Let's go to the podcast.
No.
Topics.
What are we meeting?
Huh?
What are we meeting?
What are we meeting?
Yes, what are we meeting?
Their need for order.
Okay, now we're getting somewhere. We can't, when you guys just say needs, what does that mean? It means nothing to you because you guys are assholes and you keep everything vague and abstract. Nothing is practical to you. This is why we tell you to make a schedule. Why do we tell you to make a schedule, Tortilla?
So we have direction and order.
Fuck. This is what I'm talking about. This asshole Tortilla gives me this bullshit answer. DBP, why do we have a schedule?
So that we know what we're doing every minute of every day. And
why do you need to know that?
I don't know. I don't have a clue.
That's a great answer, but I like that better than Tortilla's answer because it's to the point. We need a schedule to make things practical. We need to know where we're going. If I tell you we're going to San Diego, what are you going to do, Tortilla?
We're going to figure out how to get there.
Yes. Then what are you going to do after that?
We're going to start putting the action steps into place.
Start putting the action steps. Spoken like a true politician. Boggles, what are we going to do? We need to get to San Diego. And if we listen to Tortilla, it's going to take us 5 days longer than it should.
We're going to get in the car.
Gonna put gas in the car.
We're going to figure out how to get there. We're going to get a map. We're going to get a car. We're going to get supplies. We're going to figure out what problems are going to come along the way. We're going to do what's practical to get there. Now, if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to be like Boggles and just start driving north.
Yeah.
Boggles, when I first met Boggles would just start driving. And then 20 minutes into the drive, not knowing where the fuck he was going, would ask, oh, by the way, where are we going?
I just like to go.
Yes, but this is all of you students. You just like to go. You're retarded. You're wasting your energy doing nothing because you just like to go, but you have no direction for where you're going. This is why you need a schedule. This is why a schedule is so fucking crucial for you because you have no fucking clue where you're going. You're just used to going and bumping your head along in the dark and hoping you arrive somewhere eventually. That is your goal, just to arrive there eventually. You have no practical steps to get there. Me, on the other hand, through trial and error, just like you guys filling along in the dark, I finally got to the destination. So now that I got to the destination 20 days longer than it should have taken, what do I need to do next time I want to go to that same location? What do you think I'm going to do?
Have proper preparation, anticipating everything, remembering what you did, thinking what problems came up, and preparing adequately.
Yes. I'm going to look at what I did right, look at what I did wrong, and eliminate all the wrong steps. That's going to make me more efficient. Then I'm going to get there in 10 extra days than are necessary. Then I'm going to want to cut that down to 1 extra day until I can just get there in the exact amount of time it should take me if I'm adequately prepared to go there. Which means I'm going to first hear, okay, where am I going? San Diego. Okay, I've been there before. I know which highway to take. Highway 1. I know I need X amount of gas. I know I need money for food. If I'm going to stay in a hotel, I need that money for a hotel. I need to pack a certain amount of clothes. Maybe if I'm staying there for a day, I need to pack 1 pair of clothes. I might want to pack some shorts if I'm swimming. I just have my itinerary set out so that getting there is the least of my worries. And I can just concentrate on having fun when I get there. But I want to carry the absolute minimum necessary steps just to make sure I don't have to deal with any bullshit like running out of gas. Not having a well-maintained car, so now it's fucking broken down halfway there. Not being Boggles and driving north for an hour and figuring out, wait, I need to go south. Right?
I had it all backwards. I felt like too much planning kills.
Yeah, irrelevant.
Infinity.
The point is, I don't want to do irrelevant things like Boggles. I want to get to the point. I want to get to the point as quickly as possible and not waste time. That's what we're doing. That's why you have a schedule. And that's what ties into the next point I was trying to make, that I posted this thing here knowing that we're going to have a podcast. So I thought, well, if we're going to have a podcast, what's the next logical step for that? What's the next logical preparation step, DBP?
Having podcast topics.
Yes, having podcast topics. Aha. So before I didn't have this post. You notice that? This is a recent post. Why did I put this post up here?
So that we could all see it and follow along and you
No,
don't have to tell us.
that is helpful for you, but why did I put that post up there?
I don't know.
You're on the right track. It is helpful for you, but more importantly, Tortilla, why did I put that post up there?
So that you know what we're going to talk about.
Yes, so I have topics. I'm prepared. I cut down the preparation time. Now I don't have to look all over, pull up my notes. It's more convenient. Now other people can follow along. Do you see how much unnecessary bullshit I cut out just by planning it, just like one step, just one post?
Yes.
Now, also, guess what? Other students, if they have topics they want to talk about on the podcast, they can just post a little link or a little blurb, a little excerpt, and now I know I can cover it, and everybody can see exactly what we're going to cover on the next podcast. See how much the preparation, just that little extra step of preparation, has cut down on all the bullshit, wasted time, wasted energy, wasted effort?
Yeah.
Yes. So, what you need to do is not remain assholes by keeping everything in the ebook abstract. That means you need to stop giving bullshit tutorial answers like, meet their needs. Yes, that is a great answer if you're a first week student or you're a first month student. That's a good answer. Meet their needs. After month number 1, what do I expect you to say after that, Torero?
Have topics ready at hand, ready to go.
Okay, let's start with meet their needs. You're a new student. You know, I'm talking to somebody. I need to meet their needs. And you're parroting that for the first month at the academy. Good for you. Congratulations. Now it's month number 2. What do I expect out of you? First you started with, I need to meet their needs. Now it's month number 2. Now what do you need to graduate to?
I'm coming up blank.
Yes, of course you're coming up blank. DBP, what do you need to graduate to?
I meet their needs by XYZ.
By XYZ, meaning you have a plan.
Yes.
I need to figure out what needs are. Is it, most of you guys have these stupid answers. You just want to tell me answers I want to hear. Meet their needs. I heard that somewhere in a quiz show at Manhood Academy. Meet their needs is a good answer. This is not for me. I already know the answer. I'm not asking for you to give me a stupid answer. I'm asking you to give me a practical answer that benefits you. It doesn't benefit you if you just go meet their needs. You know what? If you're a first month student, that does benefit you. It's a very simple answer because before you didn't know that, right? You just were, oh, I just talked to this person and hopefully something happens. But now I gave you a little information in the ebook and now you know the right answer is not just hope something happens in the conversation. The right answer is what, Boggles?
Plan and execute.
Not pay attention, right?
Yeah.
Fucking Boggles. The answer is meet their needs. Boggles, I just told you the answer.
Oh, I
Pay
thought
fucking attention. Look
you
at.
asked to meet the needs.
I'm going to stab myself in the head with a screwdriver right now. Okay, so we want to meet their needs. That's the first month answer. As a new student here, you've learned some information. It's time for me to meet their needs. Now, as a second month student, what do you need to graduate to, Boggles?
Figure out how to meet their needs. Plan and make a schedule. No, plan and... Yeah.
Figure out how to meet their needs. Wouldn't you need to know what you're meeting in the first place?
Yeah, figure out what the needs are.
Yes. Again, these answers are not to benefit me. That's why you guys are assholes. Because you're not learning how to benefit you. You're telling me answers, oh, this is a cool answer for Plum. This will make Plum happy. What about you fucking figure out how to spend your money wisely at the academy? You're paying for this training. Don't be an asshole and give me stupid answers. You should be giving me answers that benefit you, that make sense to you. It makes sense to go, oh, if I have needs, then what are those needs? I got to figure out what needs means. Is that just a catchphrase? Oh, just meet their needs. Sounds like a good idea. Sounds like a good concept. What does that practically mean, Torero? Meet their needs.
It means that we're all having a good experience.
Okay, that's vague.
It means that we're all getting something out of the conversation. I mean, we're here for a reason. We're not just here to jack off.
Okay,
That's just
you told me what I'm not here for. To not jack off. Okay, so we're getting closer.
We're here to discuss the topics in the thread.
We're here to meet the audience's emotional needs by stimulating them with our
Yes,
reaction.
do you see that? You see how the answer makes sense now? Now we understand why we even need to have a proper expression. If you don't understand the answer, you won't even see the need for working on your expression. This is why you don't post Toro. You don't see the need. This is why you don't have... Here. It goes from practice to what?
Realization.
Realization. Then it goes from realization to what?
Change in behavior.
Yes. You want to change in behavior, but you're skipping what step?
Practice.
Right. You don't even have the realization that you need to practice. This is a realization in itself. Like, a lot of you guys just think, it would be a good idea to practice, or it'd be a cool thing to practice, or I should practice. You don't even realize that it's a necessity to practice. Just like if you were gonna take a test. Boggles, is it a good idea to study for a test?
Yes.
Should you be studying for a test?
Yes.
Is that a good enough realization if you want to get an A?
No.
What's a good realization if you want to get an A?
Study thoroughly for the test.
No. That's kind of right, but not exactly right. What's the answer I'm looking for? Okay, let me ask you, Death by Porn. if you're going to take a test, okay? You got a math test coming up. Is it a good idea for you to study for the test?
Yes.
Should you study for the test?
Yes, you should.
If you want to get an A on the test, what needs to happen?
You need to study, and not just study.
You need to realize that you need to study for the test.
Okay.
It shouldn't just be I should study for the test, or it's a good idea to study for the test.
I need to study.
I need to study for the test. What's the difference?
You're
Go ahead.
One's a need and one's a want.
Yes. What's the difference, Torero?
It goes back to what you mentioned about realizations lead to change in behavior. So you need to realize you need to practice before you're going to change your behavior to actually
What's
study.
the difference between I need to study for the test and I should study for the test, or it's a good idea to study for the test? What's the difference?
One is wishful and one is more solid, concrete.
You realize you need it.
What's the difference between saying it's a good idea to have breakfast in the morning, I should have breakfast in the morning, and I need to have breakfast in the morning?
You know you need breakfast.
One is necessary, the others are optional.
Yes. What are options in relation to direction?
What is not necessary?
Torero, what are options in relation to direction?
They're not good. It goes back to what we talked about limiting. It should all lead towards direction and order. The
Yes.
options are like disorderly.
Yes. What should you have if you have direction?
Just one single option.
One option. So what is having direction in relation to eating in the morning? Is it I should eat, it's a good idea to eat, or I need to eat?
I need to eat.
Do you understand the difference now?
Yes.
Okay. So in relation to this, we realize, okay, people have needs. The podcast audience has needs. They're like the girl out there I'm talking to right now. So what next? I know, DBP, that they have needs. Now what?
You have to figure out how to meet their needs.
Okay. So,
You have to, I don't know.
Boggles.
Uh-huh.
Podcast audience has quote, quote, needs.
Yes.
What's next?
We have to convey our reactions and stimulate them so that their needs are met.
Well, let's make it simple for us. Let's make it simple for people so we can explain it to them. Torero, podcast audience has needs. What do we need to do next?
Find out what those needs are.
Yes. Simple. Find out what those needs are. This should make sense to you. This shouldn't be a trick question.
Well, and the next question is, what are their needs?
Okay, let me ask you again, Boggles.
Mm-hmm.
The audience has, quote, quote, needs. We
Yeah,
just found that out. We joined Manhood Academy. What's next?
The audience has needs, and the need is to get stimulated and to have a relationship with the person conveying their person.
We need to figure out what those needs are.
Yes, and that's what I'm trying to answer.
What did you explain?
The kind of the answer to that?
The way to fulfill that, right. You're skipping ahead.
Okay.
This needs to make sense to you, Boggles.
Yeah.
I don't want you to give me stupid answers. I want you to give me answers that I'm asking for. I want you to give me intelligent answers that show you understand what's going on. You're just jumping ahead and you're just spitting out exactly what you know.
Yeah.
That shows you're not listening to the question.
Yes, that is
Yeah,
true.
that's the problem. Listening skills
Are zero.
take effort.
Yes.
They take discipline. You can't just spit out information I don't care about. You have to answer according to the question. That shows you're disciplined in your knowledge. You're disciplined in your listening skills.
Mm-hmm.
That is one of the toughest things to learn. Listening seems like such a simple thing. You just hear a sound and you just repeat the sound, right? Wrong. This is not Jeopardy. You don't just regurgitate knowledge. That's useless.
Yes.
Knowing what to do with your knowledge, knowing what to do with what you know is what's important. Not the fact that you just know something. Torero, if you read an entire math book or an encyclopedia, that is useless. But if you know what to do with what you read, that is beneficial to not only you, to other people. But if you just spit out answers, you just say, hey, I learned about this fish in Africa, useless. But if you could say, oh, how does this fish benefit you? Well, you could eat it. Well, now how do I get that fish? Well, here's how to catch it. Do you see, now your knowledge is beneficial to somebody because you've disciplined it. You have taken the time to limit so that you have limited your knowledge in a way that it meets their needs. If your knowledge is just all over the place, you just have all these fun facts in your head, you are useless.
That's how I went through school. I just knew the right answer.
Thank you for confirming that fact. Okay, so Boggles, let me ask you. You're a new student here. You have a podcast audience.
Yes.
What's my next question?
What are the audience's needs? Oh God. What are the podcast audience's needs? How do I meet the audience's needs? What are the podcast audience's needs? I'm not going to say that.
I'm asking you the same questions, just in a different way.
Yeah, you're throwing me off. What are
Yeah,
the
but you don't even understand the answer. That's why we're making it so simple. These are the things you guys need to realize. That you got to understand. This knowledge, the stuff you're learning, is cumulative. That means when you progress to the next point, you have to have the fundamentals first. You can't just skip steps. You can't just skip and go, oh, now I'm just going to start attracting women. You don't even know what the fuck you're doing. You don't even understand what that means.
1 second. High school's trying to get in.
Let him in.
All right, hold on. I think I have to add him, or he might cause another
Oh,
call.
fuck. Okay.
I knew.
Yeah, like I even though I've already answered your question like twice and you've said what the answer is, we still can't answer it again, which shows that we don't understand the fundamental.
Hey, I'm just here for a quickie.
Awesome.
Wow.
Okay.
Now that's the new guy on.
Just shut up and pay attention. We're in the middle of something. Okay, so DVP.
Go on.
DVP. We have a podcast audience. So what's next?
Meet their needs, or figure out how to meet their needs.
Torero, we got a podcast audience. What's next?
Figure out their needs.
Find out what their needs are.
Okay. We're doing this in simple steps.
Yeah, I know. Shit.
They have needs, and then what?
Yes.
They need to be met.
Yes, and then what?
We need to plan and figure out how to meet those needs. We need to know the practical.
We need to be prepared to meet their needs.
Torero, what's step one?
Figure out their needs.
Okay.
Find out what their needs are. Yeah.
We just found out, we joined Manhood Academy and we found out what?
People's needs need to be met.
People have needs. You didn't even know they had needs because you guys were directionless assholes just waiting for things to happen. You didn't know there was needs. You thought everybody had individual needs. You thought everybody was totally different, and if you just treat people individually, that this person was different than that person, and if you just handled them a different way according to the situation, everything would work out. Wrong. Wrong, asshole. Wrong.
Yeah.
What did you find out when you joined Manhood Academy, DVP? What did you find out about people?
That everybody has needs, universal needs.
Yes, they're all the same.
Same needs. Everyone has the same needs.
Okay, so let's start from step one. Torero,
Reply.
we have a podcast audience. Now what?
We have to meet their needs now, since we already know that we all have the universal needs.
That's step one. What's step one?
Knowing that they have needs.
Yes.
The audience has needs.
Okay, we just found that out because we didn't know that before.
All right.
We didn't just jump to let's meet their needs. You didn't even fucking know there was needs.
Yes. You're really hammering this in.
Yeah, because you fuckos can't get it. This is so simple. I'm asking the same thing. I'm telling you the answer every single fucking time, and you guys can't even fucking get it. That's how ridiculous this is. You guys have been in this academy for so long and you don't even know this fucking simple shit.
Yeah.
The
You
importance of realization.
have needs. That's what you guys learn. Step one. Okay, let's see. This guy's been paying attention. He's been here. He should be able to get this at least to step two. Okay, so who's the guy that just joined? High School 101.
Yes.
We have a podcast audience. What's
Okay.
the next? What's the next thing we need to know? What's the next step?
After finding out what their needs are, we
No.
have to.
Okay, stop. Let's start with Boggles. Boggles, we have a podcast audience. What's next?
We figure out that they have needs.
Okay, we just learned. Hey, they got needs. People have
Yeah.
universal needs. What's next?
And that their needs are the same as everybody's needs.
Isn't that what universal means?
Well, okay, you added a universal, I didn't, so.
Okay, well, it's the same step, Boggles. You said we just figured out that they have needs, and now you
Yes.
just said that they're all the needs are all the same.
Yes. To me, that was two different things.
Okay, let's start with Torero. Torero, we have a podcast audience. What next?
After we acknowledge that we all have universal needs, we have to get to meeting
Why
those
did
needs.
why after? Why not just step one?
All right, well,
Death
we
by
acknowledge
porn.
that we have
Shut up.
universal
Death by
needs.
porn. We have an audience. What's next?
We find out that they have universal needs.
Yes, this is simple. I'm asking you the same question and you guys are giving me 20 different answers I don't fucking care about. This shows you're not listening to what I'm saying. How are you going to be able to meet a girl's needs if you can't even fucking pay attention? I'm telling you the answer. A girl's not going to tell you the answer.
We can't.
Yeah, because you're not fucking paying attention. This is why you need to learn this right now.
Yeah.
You get a realization by practice. You know why you don't even realize half this stuff? You guys don't fucking practice. This is why it's almost near useless for me to tell you this. And I prove my point right now because you guys can't even fucking answer. I'm giving you the answer every fucking single time. You guys still can't give me the correct answer. We have an audience.
Mm-hmm.
What's next? Boggles?
We figure out that they have universal needs.
Yes. See how simple that was? I gave you the answer. What's
Yes.
next?
Then we figure out what those needs are.
Yes. See how simple that is? Very logical, right?
Yes. And
Torero, we have an audience. What's after that?
We figure out that they have universal needs.
What's after that?
Come on, man.
Oh, I got it.
Too difficult, right? Two steps, too long, huh?
I just said it.
Let's go to High School 101. High School 101. You got an audience. What's the first step?
Finding out their needs are universal.
Okay. Then what?
The second step is finding out what those needs are.
Yes. Very simple. Death by porn. We got an audience. It's a trick question coming up. What's next?
We have to figure out we have to know that their needs are universal. Figure it out.
Figure out what?
That their needs are universal. We figure that out first.
Okay. Then what?
Then, God damn it.
Yeah,
You just said it.
too
I-
difficult.
No, hold on.
Too difficult for
Wait,
you.
wait.
Fuck off, Torero. You have an audience.
I just heard High School 101 say it, but I was waiting for DVP to repeat it.
Yeah, you're waiting for him to give you the cheat sheet, right? There's two fucking answers. Unbelievable.
Hey, late night.
This is why. See, I know a lot of you guys are thinking, "Oh, I'm going to save cash. I'm going to join the academy and pick it all up in 1 month, and then I graduate. Woo! I'm done."
Good thing the new students in here.
Be like, "Oh, wait, this is a 15-year program." Okay, we're going to let High School 101 teach you guys how to do this the right way. High School 101, we got an audience. What's the first step?
First step is finding out that people's needs are universal.
Okay, what's step 2?
Step 2 is finding out what those needs are.
Simple. Makes sense to me. I bet you somebody learned something. Let's figure out who in the audience learned something. Torero, we got an audience. What's next?
Finding out that their needs are universal.
Then what?
Finding out what those needs are.
Simple. DVP, you got an audience. What's
Figure out
what's step 1?
Figure out that their needs are universal.
Okay, then what?
Figuring out what their needs are.
See that? You're no longer an asshole. It only took you about an hour. We wasted a whole hour of podcast. Actually, you didn't waste an hour. This is all educational. Your failures are all educational here. I hope this is eye-opening for everybody listening and for the students participating. Boggles.
Yeah.
Drum roll. Your pressure's on you. Do not fuck this up. You have an audience.
Yeah.
What's next?
I realize that they have needs. I need to realize that they have needs. And then after that step, I have to figure out what their needs are.
Simple, right? Makes
Yes,
sense to
like-
you?
Yes, however, in the ebook, I don't think it specifically says people needs are blah, blah, blah.
Okay. Well, maybe you need to make a post about that, right?
Yeah, I should. At least I brought it up now.
Maybe you need fucking guy. Thank you for that great excuse.
Okay.
Where do your excuses go at Manhood Academy?
To the trash.
Right. Why do they go in the trash?
Well, I figured I told you, but excuse me.
Yeah. Why do your excuses go in the trash? Maybe Torero can tell you. Why do his excuses go in the trash?
And actually do it myself. Well, I just want to tell you, and you do it.
Torero, why do his excuses go in the trash?
Because they're useless.
They are useless here. They do not help you. They only hinder you. You know what? The ebook is not perfect. It has flaws in it. It definitely has flaws in it. But how are those flaws going to be addressed unless you learn how to not be an asshole and learn how to communicate your expectations to me? This is a dynamic academy. This is not a static academy. This is not you plug in an answer and boop, something shoots back out. This is a dynamic conversation. This is your entire life here.
Mm-hmm.
This is social interaction in a nutshell. It is you not knowing something and the person you're talking to not knowing something. You guys are not on the same page. Social interaction is just you guys getting on the same page. You realize that's how simple social interaction is?
So
We're not on the
can-
same, you and me are not on the same page, so
No.
we need to get on the same page.
Yes.
That's social interaction. What
Yes.
needs to take place to get on the same page? DVP?
Expectations need to be conveyed so that both people are on the same page. Both parties are on the same page.
DVP, what needs to happen so that we can get on the same page?
I don't know.
Torero, what needs to happen so that we can get on the same page?
I was thinking sort of the same answer as Bogner's, but we need to provide that incentive and have the authority so that we're all on the same page as far as expectations.
High School 101. How do we get on the same page?
By making our expectations clear to the others so that they know what's going on and they know what should be going on.
Okay. Or we could answer the same answer that we got for 2 minutes ago, which is we figure out that everybody has universal needs, number one, and then we figure out what are those needs. Same answer. These are not different answers. These are not trick questions.
Hold on, it sounds different when you put in expectations.
So everyone has
Expectations are not. Expectations are what? If you read the ebook.
Are based off needs.
Yes. These are not unrelated things. An expectation is just a vehicle to address that need. So if your need is
So
let me make an analogy here. If your need is to get food, then an expectation would be I expect to eat pizza today. So that would just be a different vehicle, it would just be a vehicle. It would be like a taxi, or you could take a town car, or you could take a limousine. But if the destination is just to get to San Diego, the transportation you could take a bike, you could walk there, you could fly there. These are your various expectation vehicles, but you're addressing the need, which is to get to San Diego. So we all have the same need to get to San Diego, but our expectations may be better or worse for getting there. For instance, some of us may think that it's a good idea to walk on our hands to San Diego. Some of us may think it's a good idea to row a boat to San Diego. Some of us may think it's a good idea to walk north all the way around the globe to get to San Diego. Some of us may think it's a good idea to drive to San Diego. What is the difference?
One of those expectations is like the best way of getting there.
Yes. How do we tell if it's the best way or not, Torero? How would we know that?
Because it cuts out all the other bullshit.
Yes. What is that bullshit called in ebook terms?
Options.
Yes. We're cutting out what?
Options.
You're cutting out. Sorry. Say that again.
We're cutting out the other options that we don't need. We're doing it most effectively.
Yes. When we do it the most effective way, what's that called, DBP?
Order. Direction.
You tell me. Are you asking me a question or are you telling me an answer?
He's throwing out the terms.
When you're giving me two answers, what are you giving me?
Wrong answer.
Options.
Options.
You're giving me options. I don't want options. I want direction. I don't want confusion. I want to know where I'm going. So what do I expect from you if I want to know where I'm going?
Direction.
So how many answers do I want if I want a direction?
One.
So which answer are you giving me?
Direction.
Okay, are you sure?
Yes.
Okay. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this has been an awesome podcast. We almost got to a topic. We were so close. But actually, I think this was just as educational. You guys are slowly starting to see what's going on here at the Academy. It's not that we're learning any new, tricky, super-duper concepts here. The real trick is what? What's the real
Realizing
trick?
That they're there. That they exist.
Yes. What's the real trick, Torero?
We need to simplify things. I think we get a little overwhelmed and we just need to get back to the basics.
Yes.
Simple.
Practice.
You're getting, yes, the practice makes us all, it makes it clearer. This gives you the realization where the concepts start fitting together. For instance, it's not just in your head, it's not just, oh, I have a need and then I need this expectation thing to make that need practical to me. I mean, that is just, it's almost like mumbo jumbo. It's almost like a,
Textbook.
yeah, it's just like a tricky play. It's like throwing a screwball or a knuckleball when you're a pitcher. You don't understand why. It just seems like an option, just something to throw.
Theoretical.
It's theoretical. But this
It's
stuff
like
needs
you
to
just
become,
left to your imagination.
it needs to become practical to you so that you understand, oh, I have a need and everybody has the same need as me. Now I need some way to fulfill that need. That is where my expectation comes in. Yes, I have a need to eat, but how do I make that practical? Well, now I need to get a job. I have to expect to get a job to get money to get that food in my mouth. Those are all related to my expectations. This stuff should become practical common sense to you. It shouldn't be some mystical, mysterious formula where you guys are stumbling for the answer. If you're stumbling for the answer, you haven't practiced. You haven't gotten this realization yet. That's why right now I'm just telling you to do stuff. You don't understand why you're doing stuff because you have no clue what's going on. You just know that all these terms in the ebook and they're all confusing and it sounds like magic right now. It sounds like Magic the Gathering. It sounds like you're learning a game. Right now I'm teaching you how to repetitively do things. Why?
So that we have the realization.
Yeah.
So you'll get the realization. And what will the realization do?
lead us to change in
It'll,
behavior.
Help cause a change in perspective over time.
it'll construct, it'll make things into common sense and, it'll give you a point of reference for how things
It'll
really
make
work.
it practical.
Okay, let's cut out the bullshit and let's listen to Torero. What will the realization do, Torero?
Lead to a change in behavior.
Say it louder. You're cutting out.
Lead to a change in behavior.
Yes, your realization will lead to a change in behavior. Very simple. Practice. Practice becomes realization. Realization means, oh, I have a new way of looking at things that changes how I act.
Well, change in perspective, which is change in behavior, which results in change in behavior.
Uh-huh. And how is that different from what I just said?
Well, you didn't use the word perspective. You just said behavior and act.
What? Okay.
Well, when your perspective changes, that's when your behavior changes, right? That's how I think of that. Like
Realizations and a change in perspective are the same thing.
Pardon?
Realizations and a change in perspective are the same.
What is a realization? What is the difference between changing your perspective and having a realization, Bogler?
To me, having a realization over and over changes your perspective.
Yes.
So that is the difference. The realizations together help shape the perspective. So the difference is the perspective is a result of the constant realizations. The change in perspective is a result of constant realizations.
Okay.
Well, realization doesn't just go away because that'll always be with you, but it's if you don't
The
practice it,
realization
it's you.
is your perspective. It does. It's the shape of your perspective. For instance, if you realize that, let's see, what's a realization? Has anybody had a realization based on what they've learned here?
Yes.
Yes.
You can't reason with chicks.
You can't reason with. Okay, perfect example. Yes.
Okay. Well, see, even I've had that realization, but I feel it has to happen enough times before.
Yes. That's what we're getting at. Explain your point, DBP.
Like how I came by the realization.
Okay, we told you, hey, don't reason with chicks. Sounds like a good idea, but of course we go, oh, that chick is just like a guy. We just reason with him, or we just reason with her. So then we give her reasons for why this is the way it should be, and she just babbles on and on. So we give her more reasons, and we keep doing this over and over and over until we what?
Until we realize it's a waste of time.
It's a waste of time.
Yeah. I basically bashed my head against a wall until I figured that out.
Yes. So then what happens?
My perspective changed and my behavior changed. I no longer reason with chicks.
There you go. This is what it means to have a realization. It's understood that your perspective changes once you have this realization. You're just complicating things, Bogger. Okay, I guess technically if you want to say it that way, that's fine, but
Because I've had that realization, but I still repeat the same mistake again. So
then that means you haven't had the realization.
Okay.
Mm.
Well, then technically, I don't think even Death by Porn did because I think he's repeated the same mistake.
Well,
again.
then he hasn't had the realization.
Okay, so what would that be called? But the first time you
It would be called practice. It's just like learning something. Like if I tell you, hey, don't reason with chicks because they're not reasonable, and you go, well, that sounds like it might be true, and then I have some experience, and look, it seems like it's true, but I'm gonna try it one more time. Maybe it's wrong.
Okay.
Is there a realization, or is there a mental agreement with your experience?
Agreement. I would definitely place that as an agreement.
Okay, so do you understand now the difference between just mental agreement with your experiences and realization?
Yeah, slowly I'm seeing.
What happens if you have a realization?
It should change your perspective.
It's not should, it is. That is what a realization is. That's what you're not getting.
Okay.
You're still thinking, oh, I just learn it, and that's it. It changes my behavior. You don't understand the difference yet between a realization and just learning something. Why don't you understand it yet?
Because I don't have enough experience.
Which we call what here?
Lack of training, lack of practice.
Yes, that's exactly right. So now you've answered your own question. You are still confusing what many people confuse, realization with just knowing something, with just learning something. You guys have learned things from reading the ebook, from hearing me talk, but you haven't realized them.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I want to say, if you haven't made the realization, you haven't experienced enough pain from the realization yet. It's like if you're driving on the highway, you get pulled over by a police officer. Well, you get pulled over once, and then just for speeding, and then you never speed again. Well, you've learned your lesson, but if you keep on speeding and getting bigger and bigger tickets or going to jail, then you haven't learned anything. Even if you know, in theory, you just shouldn't speed on the
Yes,
highway.
you know it's a good idea to not speed on the highway, but that realization isn't there yet because that painful consequence of the police stopping you or you ending up in jail hasn't kicked in yet.
Yeah.
That's why pain is such an educational tool. That's why you shouldn't be discouraged, or you shouldn't be down if you guys have to go through pain. It's just like the pain of like weightlifting. When you get muscles, it's not just because you learned about getting muscles. You actually had to go through some painful effort to get muscles when you're exercising. When you're learning, when you're studying something, you had to go through a painful effort of reading that material, staying up at night, learning it.
Yeah.
Then so it took some painful effort to gain that knowledge.
Yeah, but in this case, the emotional pain from a bad social interaction is more hurtful than pain from exercise or pain from reading a book and understanding a concept.
Well, did you learn something? Did you have a realization based on that?
Yeah, it did, but what I'm saying is
well, if it didn't change your behavior, obviously it didn't.
No,
Did your behavior change?
Pardon?
Did your behavior change?
Yes.
Well, then you did have a realization.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is most guys, I think the emotional pain from a bad social interaction and stuff it's a much higher pain than pain from exercise and pain from reading and understanding a concept.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm just telling you that it's more painful, and that's why I think guys are not as willing to accept that pain or put themselves in a position to face that pain more.
I see your point now. You're saying that it's more painful than like if I tell you, okay, you guys want to get strong bodies, go do some physical activity. That's easier to do than saying, okay, you guys want to learn how to interact socially. Start talking to people.
Yeah, being embarrassed in front of a girl or something is painful, but you learn stuff. You're like, oh, okay, this is what
I would say that's true because even here amongst your peers, these are not girls. You're still learning to form relationships, and a lot of you are having trouble opening up and taking that step to initiate that because there is that painful possibility of rejection from even a fellow student.
Yes.
Boggles, let's take that analogy a step further. You said that the pain of exercise is nothing compared to the pain of social interaction. Think about it like this. If you take a fat kid that has never worked out in his life, that's going to be a lot more painful than if you take a kid who's in decent shape. What we are is the fat kid.
Yeah.
I would say that's true too because a lot of your habits were already formed. A lot of your bad habits were already formed by the time you got here. So you're unlearning these bad habits, and you're actually learning how to do things productively now. So it's a very painful process, especially as an adult, because as a kid you would have been socialized already. Like you would have had brothers and sisters, or your parents would have showed you how to socialize and had that acumen, that ability to do that. But you haven't had that growing up. So now you're learning at a later age. It's much more painful.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. So Bugler, you're talking about like relative pain, basically. So
yeah, it's a difference between like when you're a kid and you get a spanking for stealing a cookie versus now you're an adult and you haven't learned to not steal, so now you get thrown in jail. It's much more painful.
Yes.
Yeah. If we were socialized properly, Manhood Academy would be easy. We wouldn't even need this place.
Yeah.
Also,
We'd
because
finish it
we're
like a
much
day.
older, we've invested much more self-confidence into these ideas, into our delusions.
Yeah, I'd say that's true too. When you grow, okay, so we're talking about basically the ebook. Yes, the ebook is correct. There you go. Okay, so thank you guys for joining us.
I just had a realization, guys.
Oh, you had a realization? What's that? Thoreau had a realization.
He has a joke. Even
Mark Stewart.
the concepts, he knows he has a joke.
He's realizing that he's a funny guy. I'm realizing too that Thoreau, the more I practice with Thoreau, talking to Thoreau, the more I realize Thoreau is a funny guy.
And enough with the jail talk, guys. Jail sensitive topic.
He's meeting our needs.
He's meeting our needs for social interaction, for humor, for emotional stimulation.
Stimulation.
Thank you for giving us a real life example, Thoreau. Okay, hopefully we'll actually get to some topics then next time. This has been
tomorrow, bright and early.
This has been an educational time. Thank you for joining us, Bogler, High School 101, DBP, and Torero. We'll see you guys next time. Bam. Okay, cranking it up. Welcome, students, to the Manhood Academy. Another issue of Manhood Academy podcasting. Another issue, or maybe episode is a better word. We are actually continuing this one from the last one because I haven't actually posted the last one yet, so I'm just going to mesh these two together. I'm going to post the link to the podcast topics in the chat room right now, so everybody go ahead and click on the link so you can follow along. Let me make sure that that's the right link. Wrong link?
Race Wars.
No. Get out of the Race Wars thread. No, wrong link. I will post the right link. Apparently there is a link in here that leads to all podcast topics. For those of you that are smart, you can take a shortcut and go to the lectures section. Okay, I got the link right now. I just posted it. Deep.
I thought it was the student lounge. Fuck.
Why did you slow me down, you
The race
podcast?
war.
Oh, okay, there we go. That one should be the right one. You can go ahead and click on that. That'll take you right to the podcast topic so you guys can follow along.
Where y'all looking at? Where's this at? I'm lost.
Okay, at the bottom of the chat room, I posted the link to the podcast topics. You see the link I just posted?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay, so click on that. That'll take you right to the topics we're going to talk about.
Cool.
You all set?
Let's do it.
Okay, since we got let's do it here, let's do it by going straight to, I'm going to take a little shortcut. If you guys want to open a new window, I'm going to go to the matriculation section where we have all the student intros, and I'm going to look for NC State 83 just to get some background on who we're going to cover, because we're going to cover your expectation management report right now.
Perfect.
Okay, so let's get to it. Your mother and father divorced when you're 12, blah, blah, blah. Let's see here as far as my interactions with him. Attractive guy. Okay, so you're a smooth-looking shaft dude. All right. I feel my biggest problem before I started reading the material is opening introduction. Okay, you can hold the conversation. Maybe not in any direction I want, so you can talk. Words can come out of your mouth, but you don't know what you're doing, basically. I have began research about Manhood. Have you read any of the ebook so far?
I've read all of it a couple times, actually.
Oh, good. So you're familiar with all the terms. Okay, great.
Nice.
My personality is shy and more passive and go with the flow. So you sound like one of the students here at Manhood Academy, basically. When they all start, we're shy or passive, etc. Which is demonstrated in all my social interactions. I'm the whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to do. Okay, let's say I say to you, NC State, hey, yo, let's go bowling.
Let's go.
No, say whatever you want to do.
Whatever you want to do.
That's what I'm talking. Okay. So you are that guy. All right, great. I'm just verifying it. Okay, so I've been called passive aggressive by my friends, male and female, and sometimes I make random impulse decisions. Let the unfucking. Okay, so basic intro. Let's get right to your EM report, which usually we work from the bottom, but since I'm so excited to be talking to you as a new student, I want to get right to your report. So I'm guessing it's going to be somewhere near the top of our podcast topics. I think it might be the very first one. Let me click that and see if that's it.
That's high schools.
Nope.
I just went straight there.
You can go straight there to this EM thread, or you could be like me and click every single link until you find the right one. Forget it. I'm going.
What page is it on?
It's gonna. I'm not
One
sure.
way is more exciting than the other, guys.
I'm going straight to the I'm going to do this the old-fashioned way, the way that old people do it. I'm going to click on the expectation management section, and then go straight to. I'm going to go straight through the snow, walk 20 miles up a hill, and click right on NC State's EM report. Okay, so NC State, have you read the expectation management guidelines that sticky at the top?
I have read them.
Okay, so you know the format of what an expectation management post should look like in theory, correct?
In theory, yes, but apparently I didn't do it correctly.
Right. Okay, so don't worry, that's what most students do. They fuck up. They read it one time and then they kind of play it by ear, which is basically how you're going to learn as you go along here. You're going to make a lot of mistakes. We're just going to correct you on them and you're going to be able to do it right eventually. Okay, so actually, I think Mr. Care Bear Stare, I want to recognize this guy. First of all, he's got a pretty faggot icon, and I'm not sure if I gave that to him or not, his avatar, but I want to say that this guy, originally he came in as, his name was Mr.
I don't care.
Mr. I Don't Care.
I don't care. Yep.
But obviously he cares a lot. He was just basically putting up the tough guy front, so I changed his nickname, and once we changed his nickname, his attitude changed, and this is an amazing statement. Look at this guy, the first guy to post here. I was actually looking at this post, reading it, and then all of a sudden I looked at this new guy posting, and I thought, what does this guy have to say? And he says, this EM report is mine. Look at this fucking attitude of this new guy. This EM report is mine. He's saying, you guys are so timid and afraid of correcting each other, or afraid of even trying to address one of these EM reports, which you all should be practicing doing, because these reports are all reflecting on your own progress. So if you can teach somebody how to do an EM report, or you can credibly comment on somebody else's EM report, meaning you can accurately break down what's going on in an EM report that isn't yours, that demonstrates your competence. So you should all be able to go to anybody's EM report and look at the EM guidelines and say at the very least, you can point out what they're doing right and what they're doing wrong. And then you can take it a step further and see what should be done in the EM report. What should they be striving for? And these are all the same things that you're striving for. So they're not anything new. We're not using any any trick methods, or there shouldn't be any foreign concepts in there. Everything is privy to everybody else. You have access to the ebook. You have access to the EM guidelines, which state explicitly what you should be doing anyway. And you have all the different breakdowns. If you guys have been, one of the most educational things you can do is just go through each other's EM reports and read it and see where you guys have screwed up and see what you guys have got right. What's that?
Mr. Care Bear is in the chat. He found new errors in the ebook.
Congratulations. Thank you guys for pointing out the grammar errors. This is excellent. I don't know if this guy wants to join. Can we get him in here?
He gave me his phone number. I don't think he has Skype. Hold on, let me see.
Okay, well, I'm going to let Terrell handle that.
Yeah.
So, Terrell, can you turn off, or whoever's got their clicking sound, chat clicking sound, turn that off? Click the little...
Right, I think that guy isn't allowed to talk to people over the internet.
Yeah.
Ah, poor guy. All right, well, he'll hear it posted. Let him know. He'll just hear it posted. Okay, so this is great practice if you guys want to go over and read each other's EM reports. If you guys are only reading your own EM reports and waiting for professor's comments, my comments, or Dice's comments, or other students' comments, you're cheating yourself. You paid for the experience here. Get the most out of it. That means read the other students' reports, because when I comment on a student's report, let's say I comment on High School 101's report. DBP, whose report am I commenting on?
All of ours.
Mm-hmm.
Are you asking me, or are you telling me?
All of ours.
So all of ours. That's the correct answer. When I'm commenting on any student's report, I'm actually commenting on everybody's report. How do you know that, Torero?
Because it applies to all of us. We're all making the same mistakes.
Yeah, we know it applies to all of you, but why? How can you say that?
Because principles.
Because principles is not a valid answer. It's the right answer, but it's not a valid answer.
If we're fucking up, it's going to affect the next student.
No. Wagler.
Because
why?
Because they're all one big student.
Wrong. DBP, why?
Because them fucking up is just a reflection of us not correcting them. So it's basically like we're fucking up with them.
Yeah, but you're on the wrong track here. You're right in a sense, but you're on the wrong track here. Let me try and clarify. When I address students, am I addressing individual students, individual situations, your individual... Let's say you're at school and you're talking to a girl. When I write a response to you, am I addressing you at school with this particular girl?
No, you're addressing the general rule towards the social interaction.
Yes. Who said the right word? The P word.
Principal.
Yes. I'm addressing the principles behind your social interaction. So they apply to everybody. So if I'm addressing you talking to somebody in class, I'm not really addressing you talking to somebody in class. I'm addressing the principle of what's going on behind your interaction, which applies to every single one of your interactions. So if you're not reading other people's EM reports, you're missing out. You're not getting your education here. Okay, so let's go right to it. Back to Care Bear Stare. So he says his response is, this EM report is mine. Already, he has the right attitude. I'm going to try and correct this EM report and comment on it intelligently according to what I've learned here, and I'm going to see if it's right or wrong. So he's taking the initiative. Again, I cannot stress this enough. Social interaction for you as a guy is based on taking initiative and doing things, not reacting to things. If you're reacting to things, I'm going to consider you a chick. For instance, if I tell you to post daily in your expression posts, and you look around and you don't see any posts, you're waiting for another student to post before you post, I'm going to consider you a chick. Because a chick is ruled by the social climate around her. She's ruled by social expectations. So she's waiting for other people to act before she acts, so she doesn't feel stupid. That is not your principal function as a man. As a man, your function is to initiate. These things don't happen without your input. If you don't take the initiative to post, you're not fulfilling your function as a man. You are not being attractive as a man. When you create order, it is done by you initiating something to arrange it so that there is order. For instance, if you post and you consider whether other people are posting or not, you are basically saying, my competence is determined by everybody else at the academy. If they're not competent, I'm going to be incompetent. If they're competent, I'm going to try and be as competent as them.
Yeah, that's how I think.
This is a passive attitude, and this is exactly why, as a byproduct, a lot of you are experiencing problems attracting women. This has a lot of bearing on that, and let me explain that. So, when you're interacting with a woman, a lot of times when you guys have no experience with women, you're just talking to girls for the first time. You think a girl's pretty, and you'll come up and say, "Hey, something. Hey, what's up? How's it going?" What's up? How's it going? Says what about you, DVP?
You have no direction. You don't know. You can't lead the conversation, and you can't lead her.
Yes. What does "What's up? How's it going?" say? Let's ask the new student. NC State. What's that mean when you say "What's up? How's it going"?
Oh no, my Skype got fucked up.
Alright, they're back on.
Okay. Okay. Let's ask somebody who's still here. Jar. The Jar.
He got dropped off.
Jar. Everybody's dying. They're dropping like flies. Who's still on?
I'll answer.
Trey's here.
Trey, answer. Let's hear an answer from you. What's it mean when you say, "What's up? How's it going"? What's that say about you?
I'm deferring to her.
You're deferring to her. Explain that.
I mean, I'm letting her lead the conversation.
You're not letting her lead the conversation. You're expecting her to lead the conversation. You're saying, I don't know what I want, therefore I hope you can tell me what I want. You actually know what you want. You want to at least, at the very least, have sex with her. You might want to get into a relationship with her. Ultimately, you would like to get in a relationship with her if you're talking to a girl who's attractive enough, who meets some of your requirements. So you have an expectation in mind, but because you don't know how to get to that expectation, you don't know how to get that need met that you have for a relationship with a girl, you put the burden on her and say, what's up, how's it going? You expect her to start arranging the conversation so it leads to you and her meeting up somewhere, getting intimate, and getting into a relationship eventually. You're hoping she takes the initiative to do that. That's where the what's up, passive, how's it going? Yeah, I hope something happens in the conversation where you just let things happen to you. That's where that attitude comes from. It comes from not knowing what you're doing. So number one, you have to know what direction you're going in. You have to know what your destination is. If you don't know your destination, it's obvious that you're going to start asking things like, what's up? How's it going? Because you don't even know where you're intending to go. In a vague sense, you know, oh, I want to form a relationship with somebody, be it a guy or a girl, but you don't know how to get there. You don't know where that exact destination is, so you don't know what to do. So that translates into you saying, what's up, how's it going? Okay, so Mr. Care Bear has the benefit of the ebook now, so he has the right attitude. He's saying, look, I'm going to try and practice what I'm learning here. He's going to tackle the EM report. So he's immediately, the EM report is mine. That's the right attitude to have. Unfortunately, due to lack of time, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so he gets the EM report eventually. He says, we're on, first thing, NC-17. I keep seeing that. Instead of NC State, I keep seeing NC-17. I think I'm going to just change it to that. NC-17, okay. So NC-17, he's on the phone. Bro, you don't provide enough background info. Okay, so this is a common problem with students. They assume, just like girls, that you know what's going on in their head. So you'll say, on the phone, nobody knows what you're talking about. Nobody knows the situation. Nobody knows the background. Who are you on the phone with? With your mom? With a girlfriend? With a girl you just met? This is all relative. Relevant. Because if you're on the phone with a girlfriend, obviously she has some emotional investment already in you, so that if you try to punish her, she's more apt to be responsive to that punishment. Whereas if this is the girl you're talking to for the first time, you got her number at a club or a store or at class, and this is the very first time you're talking to her trying to form a relationship with her, if you try to punish her right off the bat without giving her any incentive to even care about your punishment, it's gonna be kind of silly for you to try and punish her and say, if you're talking to this girl you just met after class and you call her up and you say, hey, how's it going? And she says, oh, I'm fine. And then you say, so what do we do? So what did you do in class today? She says, why are you being so nosy? And you immediately, you take that as something disrespectful. So you think, okay, I'm going to punish her. And so you say, don't act like a bitch. If you're talking to a girl for the first time and you just tell her, don't act like a bitch, that's a very brave move. That's not to say that can't work, but if she has no emotional investment in you, why should she stop acting like a bitch, even if she is acting like a bitch? She has no reason to do that. She doesn't know you. She's not emotionally invested in you. For you to assume that she's just going to respond to your punishment shows that you don't understand what's going on in the social interaction. It means you don't know how to provide incentive for her to even care about you saying that.
Jar, you're causing static, man.
Yeah. Oh, I thought my power went out, so I lost the internet, I lost the speakers, I lost everything, and I went to panic mode, but
that's no excuse.
fixed it.
I was panicking because I asked you a question and there was no response. I thought you had died.
But that too.
Welcome back.
I lost you at sea, dude.
Okay, so we're still covering NC-17's EM report here. Okay, so number one, provide relevant background info for your EM report, so we're all on the same page. You don't have to go in the history of how you met this girl and what her favorite color is and any unnecessary details, but anything that's relevant to give us background to where this, why this interaction is even taking place. You need to include that in your EM report. Okay, so you go on to say, me, it's 7:30. Are you ready? You didn't include that you were stating your expectation. Do you understand when you say, it's 7:30. Are you ready? What are you saying? What is he saying when he's saying, are you ready, Torero?
He's expecting her to be ready.
Yeah, that's why he's asking in the first place, are you ready? It's 7:30. Are you ready? Now, either he's going upstairs. I don't know if he should have included this because it seems like almost like he caught her not being ready. So really he means to say, why aren't you ready? Or, he wants a valid excuse because he's saying already, you violated my expectation. Or, I don't know, are you just ringing the doorbell and trying to figure out if she's ready or not? What's
Well,
the deal?
I pull up to her house and I'm on the phone.
Okay.
It's 7:30 and I pull up and I call her and say, "Are you ready?"
Okay, so you're checking to see if she's meeting your expectation.
Yes.
Okay, so number one, you're stating your expectation, so you need to indicate that. This is your expectation. And this may seem kind of mundane, but why is it important to put that in parentheses at the end, Jar?
That he's setting his expectation.
Yeah, why is it important to put in brackets, this is my expectation? He's stating his expectation. Why is it important to put that?
We can make sure that what he's doing is right, so that we know that he.
Okay, number one, it's a check and balance to make sure that he knows what the fuck he's doing, that he knows what an expectation is. Okay, that's number one. What else?
So that he can go look back on it later.
That's
So
too
it's an
vague.
expectation report.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's from the ebook. Like, you need to add all commentary from the ebook.
Yeah, but that's not a reason. That's just saying it was in the ebook is not a reason. Give me the reason why it's in the ebook. Why do I need to say, or why is it in the EM guidelines? I said you need to write in brackets stating your expectation. Why do I want you to put that? Just because it's convenient, or just because it's something to keep it orderly? What's the reason behind that?
Gives it order.
Yeah, it's good and orderly so others can follow along. But what's the reason for you? How about for you, the person writing the report?
So that you can look back and see where you fucked up. Or
No.
where you
You
succeeded.
can see the different parts of your interaction clearly. Like, you're stating an expectation here, you're rewarding.
What does it demonstrate if you know to put those brackets there?
It knows what you're doing to some degree.
That you're competent?
Yes, it demonstrates you know the different parts of social interaction. If you can, what would it show if you knew where you were justifying inappropriately or appropriately? What would that demonstrate?
It shows you at least know what you're doing wrong.
Yes, that would show you are probably on your way to being very competent, because at the very least, if you could identify when you're not supposed to justify and when you are supposed to justify, which is probably one of the most major mistakes that people make when they're talking to anybody. If you can identify that part right off the bat, you're already in a position to go, oh, I know how to fix up this social interaction. I know how to get my expectation met. I can see right now where I'm justifying my expectation to somebody who does not even fear my authority. There's no reason for me to do that. So if I can recognize that, I know the turning point, the very crucial turning point, that'll get my expectation met. Do you realize that? If you realize that, you would realize how important it would be to label the justification part. If nothing else, if you fuck up everything else, if you can find the justification part in there and determine whether it's appropriate or not, you are right at the turning point of getting your expectations met.
Okay, interesting.
So it's equally important that you can name other parts, like where the expectation is. If you can't name a fucking basic expectation, what your expectation is, if you can't identify the expectations in a social interaction, you're doomed. That means you don't even know where the direction is. That means you don't even know what to justify to or to not justify to. You have no direction for that justification. NC-17.
Yep.
Let me ask you a trick question.
All right.
Is there an expectation in every social interaction?
Yes.
How many expectations, at the minimum, are there in every social interaction?
How many?
Yes. How many at the minimum in any social interaction?
At the minimum, it's one.
Minimum one.
Can I answer?
Torero, is that true or false? The minimum is one expectation.
False.
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 Who says false?
If I'm in charge,
Everybody?
Okay, does anybody say true? Anybody say true?
We scared him off.
I say
What's
true.
not true?
I say true. Why would I say true? He
I
said
don't know, because there's two people in interaction. I thought there's two expectations.
Yeah.
at the question is at the minimum in a social interaction, how many expectations are there? At the
So
minimum.
two people, each one an expectation.
Yeah. Each one an agreement, so at the minimum could be one because they both have the same expectation.
Yes, if there is an agreement, there's only one expectation. You're agreeing to that expectation.
Sneaky guy.
Sneaky, yes, it's a sneaky trick
hold on,
question.
Hold on. That is later on if you're in agreement, but coming off right off the bat, me and
You might be in an agreement right off the bat. Hello?
Yeah, we could have the same
Yeah, but
expectation.
Bogler, he
Hello?
said the bare minimum, so obviously
Okay,
that
so
comes
it's a
also.
possible case, alright.
So,
It's not just like this.
NC-17, congratulations, you were correct. At the minimum, there's one expectation, meaning you guys might agree. Typically, in a social interaction, how many expectations are you going to find?
2.
7.
Two and a half.
NC-17,
2 in most.
2 in most. Yes, you'll find your expectation and the other person's expectation, which will be competing against yours. This is generally the case. So it's a safe answer to assume that there's going to be at least 2 expectations. You should, at the minimum, in your social interaction, be able to name those expectations immediately. Those are not difficult to figure out. How can you figure out where the expectation is generally? What's the general clue? DBP? Oh no, let's go to JAR. What's the general clue?
I don't get the question. Is it that?
Okay.
How do you know?
How do you know where the expectations are? What's the easy way to find them?
Identify it.
How can you identify them?
If they're stating something, like
No, a lot of people make statements. What's a general clue that you can usually spot an expectation?
Disagreement?
Yes.
disagreement.
Boggles.
Mm-hmm.
Was that a question or a statement?
I said it like a question. I should have said it like a statement.
How about you say it like a statement then?
Yes.
Yeah.
The disagreement identifies the competing expectation.
Explain that.
Alright, so I'm telling, say, the French girl,
His French girl, which not everybody's privy to, which Boggles thinks everybody's privy to, so he just says French girl.
Alright, say I'm talking to a girl, and I'm saying let's do this, and she's instead suggesting something else. There is a disagreement there, and she's not agreeing to what I told her to do.
Very clever. So what's that indicate?
That indicates competing expectations. That's
Yes.
not in agreement with my expectations.
So in all your expectation management reports, generally speaking, you're not gonna have just agreement right off the bat. You're not gonna write, I agreed to go to Denny's and this person agreed to go to Denny's, end of report. It's generally gonna be some type of conflict. So the clue is, what's the clue, NC-17?
Disagreement?
Yes. Are you asking me a question or making a statement?
I'm making a statement.
Well, how about you make a statement to me then?
Disagreement. Is that a statement without having a subject and a verb and a predicate?
It's an infinitive command. It's a statement. Disagreement. It's like you saying charge. It's a full sentence. I want you to say that with an exclamation point. I'm going to ask you the question again so you can practice making a correct statement. Okay. NC-17, what's the clue that there is expectations present?
The clue that expectations are present is when there is a disagreement.
Yes.
Yeah.
Explain that now. What's that mean?
Shit.
You just got the clue. Somebody explained it to you. If you're paying attention, you should be able to explain it to me. It should be simple.
You're right. When there's when something's said and somebody disagrees and there's a competing expectation.
Yeah, it's very simple.
Yeah.
When you have the argument, or when you have the conflict, when you're not getting your needs met, when you're unhappy, here's an even easier check. Am I unhappy in the interaction? What is making me unhappy? There's the competing expectations. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Anybody else? Does that make sense to anybody else?
Yes.
Makes sense.
Yep. Makes sense to me.
Great. I hope it doesn't make sense to just one student. The other students who it doesn't make sense to, either I want you to voice why it doesn't make sense to you, or I want you to get off the podcast and stop sleeping. This is not sleep class. This is podcast time. This means your participation is required.
Yeah.
If you want to just listen, you can click off and hear the podcast when it's posted. I expect you to participate here. This is all part of Manhood Academy. I'll give you another example here. During the podcast, you have to learn how to initiate conversation when you don't know things. So that means, look you got to understand, I don't know things. There are certain topics I don't know shit about. Like, I know a lot about math. You know, I grew up studying a lot of math and blah, blah, blah. But if you take me to higher level math, I'll be stumped. I didn't almost flunk. I did flunk calculus. So if I was talking to, let's say, Boggles, who's really good at math, I would have to definitely and definitively ask him a question, voice something that I didn't realize or I didn't know about math if I was trying to learn something about math and he was teaching me. But if I just sat there and twiddled my thumbs and expected him to give me the answer, I might not get the answer. There would be a gap in our relationship. I would basically be unhappy. There would be competing expectations. I would want to know something, and he would not be teaching me that thing I wanted to know. So what would I have to do? I would have to rectify our relationship because there's a problem in our relationship. I am not able to enter into his experience. I am not able to understand math the way he understands math. So there's a gap in our relationship. It is disorderly. Until we are on the same page, our relationship is disorderly. It's an unattractive relationship. I don't like the relationship. So if he keeps talking, he would be like my math teacher who would say, just read the book. You'll get it. No, I don't get it. It's just like me if I just said, hey, I wrote about social interaction. Dr. Ladice wrote about social interaction in the ebook. Just read the ebook. If you guys just read the ebook, would you understand social interaction? No. You would need us to guide you and explain the concepts. And you would also need to have real life experience and then get correction on the things you're screwing up. and to be praised on the things that you're understanding. So they're reinforced. So this is a relationship with this information. If there's no relationship with the information is useless to you. If I tell you my favorite color is yellow, I'm a stranger on the street and I say my favorite color is yellow. Is that useful to you?
No.
Why not?
Doesn't mean anything to me.
Yes, it doesn't mean anything to you. There's no relationship. Now, if I am your girlfriend and I tell you my favorite color is yellow, does that mean anything to you?
Yes.
Why?
Yes. Because
Okay, let me ask one person. I'm glad that you guys are all answering it, at least. Jar, why does that matter to you?
Because now I know, like I could get her yellow roses, and I know that her favorite color is yellow, so I can,
Well, those are consequences of that, but why? What does that mean, though?
What does it mean that her favorite color is yellow?
Does that matter to you? Why does it matter to you?
Because I care about what she likes.
Yes, you care about her. There is a relationship. There is a reason for you to care about what she likes. It is significant to you now. If there is no relationship, the information she tells you, if she likes Campbell soup, if she's 5 feet, if she has 2 brothers, is all irrelevant to you. There's no relationship. Information is irrelevant. For a relationship to matter, information you are exchanging has to be relevant to you. If it's not relevant,
This podcast is cutting up on.
he's who's that? Who's it cutting up on? Trey. Trey, is it coming in and out?
I can't hear you that well. Every time you talk, it's just like...
Okay, cut him off and dial him back up.
I don't know what's going on.
Okay, is that making sense to people now?
Yeah.
When you have a relationship, the information, for information to matter to you, there must be a relationship behind the information. Otherwise, the information is useless.
I can relate to that because when one of the girls I'm talking to, before when I first met her, when she'd talk about her friends and complain about it, I didn't give a shit. I just wanted to, talk about other stuff. But now I actually find it endearing. I'm actually entertained by her telling me about her friends, what she likes, what she dislikes, things like that.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. And there's also something in that when girls talk to you about their problems, they assume there's a relationship already. They assume that you have a relationship with them, with their head, and that you're privy to everything going on in them, and you care about them enough to listen to their problems. So they're already making a poor assumption that they have done everything to even warrant a relationship with you.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to bridge this gap.
Show them that they're wrong.
Yeah, your job is to start creating the relationship. If somebody's telling me about their friends and I don't know them, why do I care about listening to them? I don't. I have to care about them first to even care about hearing about their friends. So I need to stop them and say, hey, we need to form a relationship before I even care. Why do I want to listen to all your problems? It's just bullshit. It's just me just humoring you. Right? If you started talking to me, DVP, and I didn't know you, and you were like, here, my brother did this today, and my mom did this, and I would hang up on you. I would say, why are you talking to me? I don't know you. Why are you sharing these things with me I don't care about? So for me to humor you and go, oh, that's interesting, that's cool, I'm doing both of us a disservice. Number one, I'm continuing to allow you to create dysfunctional relationships, disorderly relationships by reinforcing it by going, oh yeah, that's good, that's cool, keep talking. I'm basically rewarding you for bad behavior. And number two, I'm such a puss that I can't get my expectations met with you. I want to form a relationship, but I'm like, oh, I don't want to offend him, so I better just humor him. Oh yeah, that's cool. I'm not doing myself any favors. I'm not able to get my expectations met. Is my expectation that I'm going to waste time with this clown talking to me for 30 minutes when we have no relationship? Is that my expectation? No. So why would I want to practice wasting my time doing that? That would be stupid.
How do you form a relationship then? Because
Incentives.
How do you form a relationship? Well, let's get to that. I think this.
Because I thought that was incentive, talking about your life, bringing them into your experience. I thought that was incentive. So that's not incentive.
Okay, so let's talk about that. What's the difference between somebody saying, so then I was talking to the teacher, and the teacher was like, she was grading my math, and she graded my math homework, gave me an F, and I was like, that's so unfair. Mrs. Smith, why did you give me an F on a test? I can't believe she was so unfair, DBP. Okay, what's the difference? I would just start off that way. And then I say, DBP, come on over. I'm going to give you a taco for lunch. I want to eat lunch with you. Let's have a taco. And I'm going to tell you about what happened to me. What's the difference?
I have a reason to listen to you because I want.
What's the reason?
I want the taco.
What's the reason to listen to you?
The taco's the incentive.
The taco. What does the taco represent?
Incentive.
The need.
What does the taco do for you?
It gives me
Satisfy my need for food.
No, it makes you want to listen to him.
What does a taco do for you? In very simple terms.
It
Yes.
meets his need.
It meets his need. It makes him happy.
Yeah, yes.
He's happy. Now he wants to listen to me because I've done something for him.
Yes.
I've created an orderly relationship. I've given him a reason to care about listening to me. Versus, here's my problem. There's no relationship. There's no incentive built.
So you have to give people the tacos, the candy.
Yes, you have to give people tacos and candy. So DVP, can you answer your own question for me right now? How do you form a relationship?
You give them incentive. You meet their needs.
Yes. Is High School 101 on?
I wish it was.
Yeah, he is notorious for fucking this up. All his reports, all his expression posts are about boggles. He's masturbating over boggles. He's a prime example of what's going on here. That's the problem. He's like, Boggles is so mean to me. Boggles is so annoying. I'm trying to put up with Boggles. I'm trying to correct Boggles. Boggles is mean. Boggles is annoying. What's the problem, NC-17? You're a new student.
Read that again.
You don't even know what's going on. Hold on. Let me talk to somebody who's more familiar with.
I didn't hear what you were saying.
Let me talk to somebody who's more familiar with a conflict. Anybody, Jar, have you been following? Terrell, have you been following High School 101's posts?
Not much. I think DBP's been right in the middle of that.
DVP, have you been right in the middle of High School 101's posts?
Well, what do you mean by that? Have I been reading them?
Jar, you been in the middle of High School 101's posts?
I keep caught up. Yeah, I read them.
Okay, can you comment on this?
Well, I mean, like I'm reading High School 101's post, and it doesn't really mean a lot to me because I don't really care.
There's no relationship. Exactly. There's the problem. There's the exact problem that High School 101 doesn't realize, even after I've told them a billion times, the same thing. Incentive, incentive, incentive. And I will be repeating this to you students over and over again because you will be fucking this up. You guys, as much as I'm telling you this right now, you guys have not realized this. You will not realize this until it hits you in the actual conversation you're having with somebody, whether it's a guy or a girl. And instead of them going, how can I leave this conversation? How can I get the fuck away from you? How can I make an excuse to not talk to you again? How can I make an excuse to not meet with you ever again? And when that stops happening and this person suddenly out of the blue calls you up and says, hey, you want to hang out? Or they return your calls and say, hey, I got your call and I really wanted to talk to you and blah, blah, blah. You will realize, oh, this is what it means to provide incentive. This is what it means to give people candy and tacos.
Yeah.
I really like reading High School 101's posts just because I've been talking with him for so long. I have a relationship, whereas before I saw him as just like a pain in the ass. I saw like reading his posts like a chore.
Exactly.
Like just something to get out of the way.
This is exactly how I viewed his post too, until he started posting things that were incentive to me, incentive to the academy, incentive to the other students. Classic example. Yes.
The taco shouldn't be the incentive. It should be our expression. Because someone's going to listen to this podcast and think, you know what, I'm just going to buy her dinner. That would be plenty of incentive.
Okay,
Dude,
so right, let's
correct.
correct that statement since we definitely have retarded students here who will take this literally. This does not mean literally bribe people into liking you. Yes, you can feed people. Yes, I do enjoy feeding people, having them over at my house and cooking them something or going out to dinner with them and having a good meal with them. That's fine, but the emphasis is not on bribes. It is not on physical, material things or even giving them food. The emphasis is on the principle. Again, whenever I'm talking about something, I'm covering the principle, not a situation. This taco is a principle taco. It is not a regular taco. It's an ethereal, metaphysical, invisible, magical taco. It represents something that makes you happy, something that fulfills you, whether it's a pencil, whether it's a flat tire you needed fixed, whether it's a hug, whether it's a penis in your vagina, whether it's a pat on the back, whether it's a phone call, whatever it is, regardless, it is the incentive that motivates you to want to talk to me again. Does everybody understand now in podcast land what that mythical taco represents?
Yes.
Thank you for clarifying that. Blue. Well, that was Blue, right?
Yeah.
Thank you, Blue.
And I actually like thinking in terms of something tangible like that because now I can think, hey, have I given Torero enough tacos to where he wants to do something for me? Yes, no.
Well, I'm glad that example helped you.
Yeah, I think it does. Every time I think somebody not meeting my expectation, I just think, have I given them enough candy or tacos? Yes or no?
That reminds me of a distracting Indian video that I've seen recently on the internet where they're cooking eggs on a cast iron skillet, but I'm not even going to cover that because I know it's going to distract me. Okay, so let's get back here.
I cooked eggs today, like how you said
Shut up.
on the podcast.
Okay, so NC-17 says, no, I'm not ready. Violates my expectation of being on time. Okay, that's correct. Let me in. So are you busting in the house? What's going on here?
I'm outside and I'm telling her to let me in the house so I can see her state of readiness.
Okay. So this is I don't think this is, technically it's an expectation, but it's not really relevant to the point. So it's not needed. You don't need to state it because it's not really relevant to what your real expectation is that she'd be on time. So yeah, let me in. Another expectation. She comes to the door in a towel, lets me in, and we go upstairs. Okay, so she meets your again, not relevant. You are not even close to, okay, so you're saying, why don't you read this since this is you? NC State 17 says,
You're not even close to ready. Did you hear 7:30? You have to work on that.
stating your expectation. You are not even close to ready. Did you hear 7:30? What is that, Jar?
That's justification.
How can you tell?
Because it's not an expectation.
Wait.
The what?
Wait. How is it not an expectation?
Okay.
Explain why it's justification.
Because he's focusing on
The reasons.
What's it mean to justify yourself to somebody? What are you trying to do?
You're trying to explain why you're doing something, why you have this expectation.
Okay. What is that?
So-
what does that fall under when you're explaining something to somebody? What does that fall under?
Supporting your expectation.
What's it fall under when you start justifying yourself to somebody? What's that fall under? What category does that fall under? Let me ask this. How do you get your expectations met? What two things can you do to get your expectations met?
Reward and
Reward and
punish.
Reward and punish. So when
Pleasure.
you're justifying your expectation to somebody, what does that fall under?
Pleasure.
Pleasure.
Why is it
Yeah.
pleasurable?
Because it's not painful.
I'm either of those.
If it's not painful, it's going to be pleasurable. It's
Well,
only
yeah,
one
we
thing.
know that. We know that by process of elimination. But why is it pleasurable?
You're giving them respect. You're giving them, treating them like an adult.
If I'm explaining to you math, why is that pleasurable?
I want to say because you're giving them attention.
Well, that's
Yes,
kind of a
that's
short
part of
point.
it.
But anybody else have a better answer? Why is it pleasurable? Blue.
But it lacks enforcement.
What's that?
It lacks enforcement.
No, that's not why it's pleasurable. Pleasure enforces things too, by the way. Why is it pleasurable?
You're putting the person above you. I guess.
You're telling them something they want to know. That makes their world a little more orderly.
Okay.
If I'm explaining math to you, and you don't know math, and you need to add to figure out how much change you should get at a cash register when you pay for something, isn't that helping you? Isn't that organizing your life? Isn't that making your life better? If I teach you how to fish, if I justify, why you need to bait your hook this way and not that way, and why you need to cast it this way and not that way, isn't that helping you?
It is if I want to know about that.
Well,
Damn it, Boggles.
Either way, just because you don't want it doesn't mean it's
It
not
is.
If the assumption
Yeah,
is
take
the assumption is you're trying to learn how to fish, Boggles. Come on, pay attention.
I'm thinking in terms of a chick. I explain something, and she's like, I don't care for the explanation. In that case, even if it's helpful to her, she's not going to listen.
Boggles, we're not talking about. God damn it. Okay. Forget about that, Boggles. Forget about that. You're trying to learn how to fish. There's no chick here.
Okay, sure.
I'm teaching you how to fish.
All right.
Doesn't it help you? Doesn't it
Yes,
order
it
your
does.
world?
Yes.
Isn't it pleasurable because you learn something? You learn how to do something which you didn't know how to do?
I totally understand the
Okay,
concept and the-
now we'll apply the other person in there.
Okay.
What is happening in this case? What does the justification fall under?
Inappropriate. No.
What does justification fall under?
Rewarding.
Rewarding, right. So, what is he doing here?
He's rewarding her bad behavior.
He's rewarding her bad behavior. How is he rewarding her bad behavior?
Because she's not
NC-17, how are you rewarding her bad
I
behavior?
have no idea.
Okay, how about another black guy? Trey. How is he rewarding her bad behavior?
He's not punishing her bad behavior.
Are you asking me a question? I'm asking you a question.
He's not punishing her bad behavior. He's just
How is he rewarding her bad behavior?
by
Can I answer this
Actually,
one?
I think I just answered it, but go ahead. Yeah, DVP.
He's explaining something to her, and that's pleasurable.
He's explaining something. He's giving her a reward. So he's saying, here's the reason for such and such and such. So he's giving her a pleasurable response for her doing what?
Violating his expectations.
Violating his expectation. So NC-17, if you're giving her something pleasurable, an explanation for your behavior, an explanation for how the world works, a justification for your existence, you're giving her pleasure. You're trying to meet her expectations. Your justification is basically saying, how can I meet your expectation? How can I explain this thing so it'll be understandable to you? How can I cater this information to you? You're rewarding her for violating your expectation. So what is this doing? What's the net effect?
It's encouraging her to keep violating my
Yes.
expectations.
It says, hey, good job fucking me over. Please do it again. Please fuck me over again. That's exactly what you're doing. So I know later on you said you were punishing her, but you were doing just the opposite. You're rewarding her.
Gotcha.
Unmerited reward.
Right. Well, we skip down here. Actually, let's not skip. I think this is all probably
I
relevant
think this
here.
is very good to understand that justification is also a reward. That's why you do it after you gain
Yes.
your authority. I never realized that till now.
Okay, so let's cover that. That's a good point. So let's say she did show up on time. She's like, hey, okay, let's say you actually punish. No, let's see how this would actually really work in real life. So if you were doing things right, and let's say she was emotionally invested in you, we're just going to make the assumption that she loves you, okay? And it's kind of hard to make this assumption because she wouldn't fall in love with you if this is the way you were actually rewarding her for bad behavior. But mythically, we're going to assume that she's in love with you, and she's like, it's like 7:30, and she's not even ready, and you're like, hey, I told you to be ready at 7:30. She's like, I'm not ready yet, and then you leave. You're like, well, okay, I'm leaving without you. Next time I want you to be on time. She's like, no, I'll be on. I'm in a hurry, rush. I said, look, I expected you to be at time on 7:30. You're not ready. I'm out of here. Next time, be ready. End of story. She said, but wait, NC-17, don't go. My boobies are so ready for you. And you leave, okay? Now, you set up a date with her next week. And you say, remember when I told you to be ready 7:30? Okay, I'm going to pick you up this time. It's going to be, you get off at let's say you get off at 7:30. And you're like, okay, I want you to be ready at 8:30. I'm going to be there at 8:30. Be ready. And then you drive up 8:30. She's like, oh, look, I'm ready. I wasn't late this time. See, I'm ready. Now what do? You could say,
Reward.
hey, you could reward. That's right. You should reward. And you should do that by what? What's one way you can do that, I should say? You could hug her. You say, good job. You can also do what as reward?
Justify why.
Yes. Well, how would he do that? He's justifying what?
He's justifying his expectation.
Yes. So he's going to justify now. He can justify why he wants her to be ready at 8:30. Instead of just, seeming like he's Stalin or Hitler, he could go, hey, I expect you to be ready at 8:30 because I'm in charge. I'm in charge of taking care of you, and you need to do what I'm telling you. I'm the guy in the relationship. So when I tell you to do something, I expect it to be done because I'm also making sacrifices for you. I'm protecting you. I'm looking out for you. I might be paying for things, providing for things, etc. So whatever he's doing on his end of the relationship, he can now explain that if he wants to as a reward. So she understands why these demands are there. She's not just a demanding dick just because he feels like being arbitrarily making her, be ready at a certain time. But there's a reason, there's a rationale behind it. It's not just because, of this thing. Maybe he wants to get to a movie on time, right? Maybe there's a movie at 10. But if she's not meeting his expectation, it doesn't warrant that explanation. He doesn't have to justify why he wants her to be ready until she starts fearing his authority. Once she fears his authority, she's like, look, NC-17, I'm ready. I'm ready now. I'm ready on time. Now I can say, good. See, when you're on time, I planned a surprise for us. I wanted us to go to a movie. I want us to be on time. When you're ready, see, it shows you're respecting me. Now we're going to have a good time together. See how that works?
Okay, so it's okay to explain to a girl why you're in charge when she's listening to you. Like, sometimes I was a little confused, like, oh, it's not good to talk about why your manhood is just to punish and reward and keep it simple.
When she's
the problem with you, Boggles, is not that you don't understand this. Is that, well, you don't understand this. It's that you just start giving ebook explanations like she's read the ebook. She doesn't know what the fuck you're talking about. Because you don't have practice relating it to her. You have to take your audience into consideration. Let's say she was Polish and didn't speak English. Would you just start reading to her out of the ebook?
No.
Why not?
Because she would not understand what I'm talking about.
Exactly. But you don't take that into consideration. You just go, oh, she's probably already graduated from Manhood Academy even though she's a girl. Let me start reading to her from the ebook. That is mindless.
So when can I explain stuff to her? Like
after she's.
This is not a when can. This is a what are you explaining? First of all, you don't even understand the point I'm bringing up. You don't have listening skills. That is the main problem.
Okay.
I'm telling you, the issue is not when you're explaining right now, but the fact that you're explaining shit she would never understand anyway. You're not putting it in relatable terms that she can even understand.
So therefore, it's not even a reward.
So my explanation is not good enough.
Yeah, your explanation is not good enough. It's not a reward. It's confusing. If you're confused, if I have to ask you to explain math and you explain to me biology, that's not a reward. That's a punishment.
So, I mean, to me, it seems like, hey, I am in charge of you because blah, blah, blah. that seems like it would be understandable to a girl.
Yeah, but the problem is you don't say blah, blah, blah. You use, you should meet my expectation because I'm incentivizing this social interaction, and then thusly this thing will happen, and you submit to my authority. She's like, what the fuck are you talking about, you space alien?
The Indian space alien.
Alright.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Can
Okay.
I clear something up, Plum?
Yes, please do.
So, telling someone what they want to hear is justification at all times.
Telling somebody what they want to hear
Is justification.
when you're meeting their expectation.
Oh, yes.
So let's say you have an expectation of, let's say, like this one, meeting on time, being on time. Meet me at 7:30. Okay, so you're justifying your expectation to her. You're basically saying why it's valid to have this expectation. Her expectation is make me happy in general. All her expectations, everybody's expectations boil down to the same thing: make me happy. Okay, if you want to get in the simplest terms, why does he want her to show up 7:30 so they can go out and have a good time so they can both be happy? Make me happy.
Yeah.
Why do you want me to? Why do you want to go out with me? Why do I expect this girl to go out with me? Why do I expect her to not be a bitch? Why do girls expect you to take out the trash so that the household runs great, so that they're all happy, right? All the expectations always boil down to make me happy. Okay, so if you're going to justify yourself, you're going to justify what you're doing that meets that expectation, that meets her make me happy expectation. That's what your justification essentially is. It's essentially, look, I want you to show up, in this case, I want you to show up or be ready at 7:30 because this will show that you're respecting my authority and that we'll get to this dinner event on time and we'll both be able to enjoy it, and it'll eventually end up in you being happy and me being happy. So it'll meet your expectation. I'm justifying what I'm doing, my actions, my behavior, my expectation to you so that it shows how it's going to make you happy.
Since we're on the topic of justifying, how do you, like after a girl is submissive to you, how do you justify why you're in charge? In layman's terms that she can understand.
How do I justify?
He's having the same thing I'm having.
What do you mean?
Like when I say I'm in charge.
Oh, I'm in charge because is what you're saying. Okay.
Yes, there we go.
So let's cover this. Why are you guys in charge? Let's put it in layman's terms. Forget the ebook.
To make people
Because
happy.
we're guys is not an answer.
Because we have the ability to take care of, to meet her needs.
Okay, so didn't you just answer your own question, Boggles?
Yeah, but the chick's not going to understand that.
Yeah, so
What part isn't she going to understand?
Oh, I tell a chick, you should be under my authority, so I'll meet your needs. She'll kind of get it, but...
Yeah, but you know what? You know why people don't understand you? Because you're so vague. You're not specific. Everybody's problem is they're not specific. This is why I stress all the time at the academy. Even expression falls under this problem. When you guys express something, for instance, NC-17, I don't know, when you're first starting out your post, you make these very general statements like, I'm having a good time with my friends. It was fun to do this thing. We enjoyed ourselves. What is the problem with that?
Because you're not giving the specific emotions of what you're feeling.
Am I having a good time?
Yes.
Am I having a good time?
Right
Torero, am I having a good time? If I tell you, hey, Torero, I'm having a good time, am I having a good time?
Yes, but then explain the degree or why.
Yes, I'm not bringing you into it my experience because I could be having a good time firing off a shotgun in the air, or I could have a good time eating a grilled cheese sandwich. But if there's no distinction between this type of good and that type of good, nobody can understand what the difference is in those experiences.
Okay.
Unless I bring somebody into that specific degree of my experience. This is why it's crucial for you to be specific with your expectations. To say, obey me, if you just tell a girl, hey, I'm in charge, listen up. Is that good enough?
No.
What's wrong with that?
It's not specific.
It's not specific.
There's
no direction. There's no direction. What does that mean, be in charge? Listen to me.
What I say goes.
Well, in what? Under what? If you tell me to shoot, if you tell me to shoot my dad, does that go?
No.
So does that mean? So that mean everything goes?
In most cases.
So in most cases, I should shoot my dad. How do I know which cases?
I have a vague vocabulary.
Yeah, you not only have a vague vocabulary, you have a vague understanding of the ebook. That's the problem. You need to be specific in your understanding of the ebook. You need to know how to explain things specifically, not situationally, so you understand the concepts, the principles. that are controlling all these different situations.
The reason I asked was because I've heard many times on the podcast when you're talking to girls or whatever, you actually say this verbatim, I'm in charge, and then that's it.
Okay.
That's why
yes, but the problem is you're only getting a slice of what I'm saying. You're not getting a full explanation. If you've heard me explain things on the podcast, do I explain things in one sentence?
No.
So you're not privy to all the conversations I'm having with a girl. So if you're taking one conversation to be the prototypical conversation of how you should talk to every girl, you're not paying attention to the footnotes I'm even putting on the conversation.
All right.
A lot of times, even I remember in one of the podcasts I was saying, this is not a model conversation. There are elements I want you to pay attention to, but this does not define every single conversation. In fact, I've even posted videos of interactions with girls that I'm doing things poorly, badly, wrong. I'm passive aggressive. I'm using sarcasm. I'm doing all types of things I would never recommend in a typical conversation that would be more conducive to you getting a relationship with a girl.
Okay. All right. That makes sense.
The reason why you would have been passive aggressive and using sarcasm just because it's a habit of yours.
It's a bad habit. Yes.
Right. Okay.
So it takes some training to realize when you're using sarcasm because it's all around you and you're taught to use it. For instance, most guys when they see something they don't agree with or they become indignant. They're taught to become indignant first, and they're taught to say, "Wow." You ever hear your buddies see something
Really?
You ever heard a girl say really or seriously or wow? That's a chick. That's a common chick argument that's employed by guys today because they don't know what their expectations are, number one, and they don't know how to get their expectations met. So when you don't know how to get things met, you don't know how to get your needs met, you become passive aggressive by default. It's a default condition. It's kind of like when somebody keeps telling you if they keep telling you, hey, I'm super smart, and you go, your first attempt will be, well, you're not smart because you didn't answer this problem correctly. You said 2 + 2 is equal to 5. And they go, no, but I'm smart because 5 is close to 4. And you say, well, no, but that's not how math works because math has an exact answer and 2 + 2 is supposed to equal 4. And they tell you, well, no, that's some math. That's just your opinion. And eventually, you can't get your expectation met. You don't know how to punish them and smack them upside their head and say, shut up, stop talking. You just keep trying to explain, and you get frustrated. So then what do you do when you finally are at your wit's end? And you still can't get your expectation met. What do you do then, NC-17?
Punch him in the face.
No. That would be what you should be doing in the beginning. But what do you do?
Start yelling.
Nope.
Stop talking to them.
Nope.
Snide comments.
Torero, what do you start doing?
Whatever.
Nope. Torero, what do you start doing?
Repeat the question again?
Exactly.
How did you know?
Jar, what do you start doing?
I didn't hear the question. I agree with Torero. I didn't hear it. They cut out.
Oh,
Hello?
okay. Let me just explain it. You start saying, a lot of you guys are going to hear this podcast for the first time when you replay it. You're going to start saying, yeah, you're a genius. You're really bright. Yeah, you're smart. Why are you saying it? Why are you saying that? Instead of, formerly you're explaining everything, explaining how they're wrong. You thought that was going to sink in. Why are you suddenly saying, yeah, you're smart. You're really bright. You're brilliant. Why are you saying that?
Shut the fuck up.
What's that?
So they'll shut the fuck up.
They won't shut the fuck up, but you're trying to do what?
Get your
You
expectations met.
want to create a relationship, and the only way to do that is to agree.
No.
No.
You're trying to get your expectations met the only way you know how. Agree.
Sarcasm.
No, you're not. You're basically just trying to punish them.
You're trying to snub them.
You're trying to snub them because you're frustrated with them. This is where sarcasm comes from. Oh yeah, you're really smart. You're really saying you're an idiot.
You're trying to be condescending.
Yeah, you're trying to be condescending at that point. You can't get your expectations met. You don't know how to punish them directly. So you try to indirectly punish them by being sarcastic. This is what girls do all the time to you guys. Oh yeah, you're really bright. Oh yeah, you're cool. Those types of comments when they mean just the opposite. This is irresponsible communication, and this shows you're frustrated. You can't get your expectations met. Girls can't beat you up. Girls have no real authority over you. You're a guy. You could smack a bitch if you really, really wanted to.
Yeah.
You get in trouble, but you could really do that. Girls can't Girls can't force their will on you. So if they can't get their expectation met, what's their natural response going to be?
Sarcasm.
A passive-aggressive, sarcastic response. Oh, wow. Oh, yeah, you're really mature.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you know what you're doing. Oh, no, you have a tiny penis is not sarcasm.
That's shaming.
That's
No, I'm
shaming.
saying that's shaming.
Yeah, but that's irrelevant to the
He's
point.
mixing in another concept.
That's irrelevant to the point.
All right.
Basically, they're trying to appear superior by using either sarcasm.
Yes, thank you for going beyond the point I was trying to make.
Yeah, I love to go beyond. I'm all about beyond.
I don't love to go beyond the point. Boggles. Now, welcome NC-17. Boggles, if you don't know by now, is the worst student at Manhood Academy. Now you know why.
He has some interesting expression posts, though.
Yes, he has great expression posts, but still missing the point many times. I hope you do not miss the point.
Try not to.
I think I forgot the point already. That's another problem with Boggles. He makes me forget every point. Every important point. Every point you pay for with your money to get educated here, Boggles derails your education.
Sorry, guys.
If you ever saw Full Metal Jacket where Private Pile keeps screwing up and everybody has to pay for it for Boggles eating his jelly donut and hiding the jelly donut in his Foot Locker and you guys having to do push-ups, in a real situation, you guys would eventually get tired of Boggles, grab some bars of soap, wrap them in towels, and beat Boggles in the middle of the night.
You voted off the island, Boggles.
Then Boggles would go crazy, get his M16, and kill me.
I tried to plan a concept, but I end up going beyond, and I stay in the beyond region.
Thank you for clarifying that, Boggles. This is my. You can see my natural response is sarcasm because again, I can't punish Boggles to make him listen to the concepts, so I'm kind of stuck, frustrated. So even I become sarcastic. So you can see sarcasm a natural progression to not getting your expectations met. Yes, Blue.
No, you basically took the words out of my mouth. I was saying just to get us back on track. People resort to passive-aggressive or sarcasm because they're frustrated and they don't know how to get their expectations.
Exactly. So when you hear me being sarcastic with Boggles, it's exactly a prime example of frustration of not being able to get your expectations met.
This is the first time I've seen dysfunction out of you, Plum.
What?
Well, you haven't been paying attention then.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see here. You got to take those posters of me off your wall.
Yeah.
Too much worship going on.
They're always like pumped.
Too much worship going on.
I've never seen it before.
You haven't been paying attention to it then. It's there all the time. You listen to the podcast. I'm always sarcastic with Boggles. You think I'm really trying to thank Boggles for interfering with a podcast?
I've never heard of podcast with Boggles, but okay.
Okay.
This guy's just being here.
Boggles, just shut up.
Fuck off.
Yes. You can see people, first-hand students, failing at creating relationships with each other.
Yeah,
Failing at providing incentive for each other.
I would kick his ass if he was...
Okay, Boggles, nobody cares. You're the problem anyway. We've already established that, so shut up. Okay, let's continue. Yes, she is justifying her behavior. Okay, so next part, NC-17 says, what's the point of saying a time if we don't stick to it? I can't help your friends don't know their shit. I can't help your friends don't have their shit together. You better read this. This is Blackanese. Go ahead.
Blackanese, you just separate the sentences with periods.
Okay, do it. Go ahead. Do it for me in the way you meant to say it.
What's the point of saying a time if you don't stick to it? I can't help your friends don't have their shit together. How do you make it to work on time? That's
definitely Blackanese. I can't help your friends don't have their shit together. That's Blackanese. I would never say that. Okay, so your point here is, what's the point of saying it's on time if you don't stick to it? Okay, is that a punishment?
It sounds like a justification.
Yes, it is a justification. What do you try? How can you tell it's a justification? Jar, how can you tell it's a justification?
He's focusing on himself, on his.
Yes. Number one problem when arguing with people or trying to get your expectations met is you keep trying to meet their expectations, which means you're focusing on your behavior because their expectations are always pointing at you as the problem and they're pointing at your behavior as the fault. So if you're saying you're always trying to justify yourself, what's the point of saying a time if we have da da da? So you're trying to reason with her and meet her expectation instead of actually punishing her.
Aren't you like trying to shame her a little bit too?
Yeah, same thing. It's like passive aggressive. It's like girls do when they say, "Why are you being so mean to me?" That's essentially what you're saying to her. Why are you being mean to me? You're trying to guilt her into meeting your expectations.
Yeah.
What does guilt fall under in the ebook? Boggles. What's guilt fall under in the ebook?
I haven't read the updated part.
Boggles. Okay, DBP. What's guilt fall under? Ebook.
Pleasure.
What's that?
It would be punishing.
Pain.
It's definitely, there's a certain section I think it's under in the ebook.
Guilt.
It's punishing by guilt, like instead of punishing by shame.
Okay, I'm going to give somebody a reward. Whoever opens their ebook first and finds the answer, what does guilt fall under, is going to get a prize from the professor. On your mark, get set, go.
No, this isn't fair. I'm using my mom's laptop and I have the book downloaded on
Who?
My acrobat is stuck.
If you're resourceful, there's several ways you might be able to find the answer.
You're all about resourceful. All right.
mischaracterization. I can. No. Shit.
Control.
Yes, guessing is one of the ways that you could find the answer, but not a very reliable way, but it is one of the ways. Who will get that?
It's refusing to punish.
Refusing to punish.
Ah. Everybody hear that?
Yeah, somebody said it.
He's right.
Anybody want to read that little section? Whoever found it? Whoever the prize guy is?
Let me go.
Okay, go ahead. You go.
The header says, complaining, begging, and guilting. Today, it's not uncommon for husbands to complain about their unsympathetic, unappreciative wives. It's not difficult to find frustrated boyfriends begging for sex. Even teachers neglect their expectations by employing guilt instead of discipline. In each case, the absence of a direct statement of expectations leads to a disorderly social interaction. And then, next paragraph. Complaining, begging, and guilting proves useless to establishing authority. Those with authority give permission. They don't ask for it. In each case...
do you see a key point there? Well, read that again.
Those with authority give permission. They don't ask for it.
Those with authority give permission. They don't ask for it. What does that mean here in this context?
By guilty.
Trey, what's that mean here in this context?
That means when he is saying,
Yeah.
You're on the right track.
what's the point? He's asking her for her...
Permission.
Yes.
That's essentially what is going on. Do you understand how... Can anybody explain how that's going on? Can somebody help Trey out?
By guilting?
Well, guilting is the method. That's kind of the vehicle of how he's doing it.
Just because it's asking a question, what's the point of saying a time if we don't stick to it? It's like basically it is asking.
Yes, you're asking her permission. You're saying, why can't we meet this expectation? Why isn't this expectation good enough? Can I get permission from you? Can I get a voucher from you? Can I get a whoop whoop from you? Do you understand how you're asking permission and not punishing NC-17?
I do understand.
You are refusing to punish in this case. Hey, isn't my expectation good enough? Can't we do this, please? That's really how you're asking it. That's really what it means to her. Isn't this okay, baby? You're the one, you're basically saying she has the authority. You're telling her she has the authority. Now, she doesn't understand the ebook concept, but she understands when a guy is asking her permission.
Well, she feels it.
Yeah, she feels it. In girl terms, I just feel like he can't take charge. That's what it's in girl terms. Or in girl terms, I just like this other friend over here for some reason. I don't like you no more. Those are girl terms. Yes.
Growing up, my mom would guilt me into stuff and it worked. And so I kind of had that habit of trying to guilt others in. But I don't know, it worked.
It worked. Oh, how did it work? Explain that.
But when my mom tried to guilt me...
Yeah, explain how that all worked.
I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, exactly. That meant I didn't want your explanation because it doesn't work.
It doesn't work. I understand that. Like as an adult.
Shut up. It doesn't work.
All right.
That was the point.
Okay.
Boggles, you love to derail everything. You like to fight against being educated. You are like the true Indian. You don't want anything. You don't want any help. You want to fight getting help.
Well, I wanted to clarify that because I thought I remembered it being...
You want to clarify it by undermining it. How is that clarifying it? It's not helping you. You're fucking yourself over. Not only do you not even have a relevant, competent example ready, you're trying to fuck up your own education here. Not only that, you're fucking up the other students' education. Now they're like, oh wait, this is wrong. I just learned this was right. Oh, now it's all wrong. How does that help anybody, Boggles?
It doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't. Motherfucker. Okay, let's keep going. NC-17.
Yep.
You're up. Go ahead.
I'm up. What am I doing?
I don't know. What are you reading next?
I'm reading.
Yeah, your next line here after what's the point of blah blah blah?
Oh yeah, this is her response. She's like, I'm always on time for important stuff, not social things.
Okay. So what's she doing?
Justifying.
No, punishing.
Explain yourself, somebody.
Punishing because she's undermining what he said. She's saying this is not important.
Everybody agree with Boggles or disagree?
I agree.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Trey, is he correct?
I should say yes. I will say yes.
Well, this sounds like a difficult issue. This sounds like a very controversial issue. I want to get to the bottom of this controversy because I don't want to be stuck and not know what's going on. We need to find a Loch Ness monster in this answer. Somebody help me out here because it seems like he's justifying, but some people say there's other camps, there's rival camps in the Manhood Academy that say that she is punishing. Can we figure this out? Because I don't want there to be a war over this.
Because the way she says, I am always on time to important stuff, implying that it's not important.
Yeah, and that is what, she's saying this
it's punishment. It is punishment. Because
she's undermining something he wants to do with her.
he said, well, basically, essentially, she's saying that you're not important.
Yeah. In essence.
So it's punishment.
It is punishment.
Not only that, if she's justifying her expectation, what does that mean?
Rewarding you.
If there are there competing expectations, number one?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Is she trying to justify her expectation?
Yes, she wants to support her expectation.
Okay, so what does that mean if she's justifying an expectation that's competing with another expectation?
She's denying
Violating your expectations.
She's violating your expectation by default. She's saying your expectation is wrong. So what does that fall under? That's punishment. What's that fall under?
Disagreement.
Disagreement. If you say, hey, the sky is blue, and I say, no, it's orange.
It is when the sun sets.
It is only sometimes.
Well, what's happening? NC-17, what's happening? You say the sky is blue, I say, no, it's orange. What am I doing?
Disagreeing.
Yeah. So what is that doing to you?
Violating my expectations.
You're right. So what's that called? What am I doing to you?
Punishing me.
Yes, I am punishing you. Exactly.
Okay.
Is that clear? Is everybody clear now? Is the controversy solved?
Yes.
Okay, now how many people say... Never mind. I think we covered it. Let's go on. Who's NC-17, you're up.
Alright. So are you suggesting my time is not important? I expect you to be on time when we do stuff together.
And read the brackets.
I punish her with sarcasm and then restate my expectation.
Yes or no?
How's that?
I'm asking NC-17, yes or no?
I don't think I used the correct word, and I don't know if I know the correct word for what that was, but I did restate my expectation. So.
Anybody agree with NC-17's assessment, or anybody disagree?
I agree.
With sarcasm, but hold on. Yeah, he just restated his expectations. I think.
Jar, agree or disagree?
Sarcasm.
I said I agreed to what he just said, not what he wrote.
Okay. How would you fix this if you had to fix this?
So he's justifying himself again when he says, so you are suggesting that my time is not important. That's justification again.
Right.
He's asking for permission again. And then
So when he's asking for permission from somebody, is he punishing them?
No.
When you say, "Hey, can I do something, please?" Are you punishing them?
No.
No, you're rewarding them.
Yeah.
Giving them regard.
Oh, your authority's important. Can I get some permission from you? You're a swell person. You're in charge. I respect you.
Yes.
Is he punishing her with sarcasm?
No.
No.
He is rewarding her by justifying.
Ah.
So change that to
NC-17. Do you understand that?
Yes. I have a problem with justification.
No, but is that clear? Do you understand now in your example here where that's clear? Because before you told me you were just punishing her with sarcasm. Explain to me. Explain to me what was just said.
Justification is rewarding her.
Yeah, show me why you were doing that in this example. How does that apply here?
Let's see.
Trey's going to give you a hint. Trey's going to explain it first. Trey, explain it to him.
Well, first off, when you say you're asking that question again, so you're basically giving her permission. If you're going to give her permission, you are justifying yourself.
He's not giving her permission.
He's asking for her feedback on something.
Yes, he's asking her permission.
Yeah, he's
It's
asking.
in her feedback.
So you are suggesting that my time is not important? That's really a
like
question.
Feedback to me.
Yeah, it is a question, so you're asking. You are asking.
How is that permission, though?
He's asking her permission.
As to if that is okay.
He's trying to reason with her. He's explaining with her. He's essentially justifying. He's trying to meet her expectation. He's trying not to offend her.
Okay.
And then she's just gonna give like some sort of politically correct answer. Like if she didn't say okay, she would have said like, well, it's not that, you know.
Yeah, exactly. She would have made an excuse. Oh, I didn't really expect it. It's just that,
I'm just getting ready.
yeah, I'm just getting ready. It took me longer than I expected, etc., etc.
So girls have a politically correct way of taking away your authority in general.
Yes.
Okay, anyway. Let's see. NC-17, explain that to me now. Did you get what was just said?
I hear it, but I don't know that I can explain it.
Okay, so we need somebody to explain it so that NC-17 can take a whack at it.
Mhm.
Who can do it? Who can do it?
I can do it.
Who can do it?
He's asking, actually, you know what, Terrell's the one first. You explain it.
I think
You tap out? Who's got it? Jar, you got it? Who's got it?
That's what he said.
I got a simplifying statement here for this answer.
Oh, okay,
Asking
sweet.
permission
Okay, let's hear it.
is justification.
Asking for
Giving her the
permission,
authority.
justification.
Asking for permission is justification.
Everybody agree with that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, how would that apply here?
Are you suggesting this question?
Yeah, it's a question. Exactly. So that's.
Can you put that in a complete statement so it makes sense?
I forgot the full question.
Can somebody, anybody in class, can we put this together, please?
So you are okay. He asked the question. So you are suggesting that my time is not important. That's a question.
That's a question. Yeah.
See how much
Yes.
clearer that is? Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. Okay, now, can you explain this to me, NC-17?
I am asking her a question instead of making a statement, so I'm justifying myself.
Is it just about the question and the statement?
It's probably the. Yeah, I think so.
Everybody agree or disagree?
I'm lost.
I'm lost.
Okay, let's cover it until we get out of the jungle, because this is this is the end of the podcast, so we got to get out of here. Come on, let's do it. Okay, Torero, please make it simple, so you know us 5-year-olds can understand it, please.
Well, yeah, I'm a little lost too.
Okay, anybody not Bogler?
Okay, can I?
Whose point?
Blue, go for it, Blue.
All right. The issue is not whether you're asking questions or anything, because you can ask a question about what time is good for you. That could be your expectation. But in this case, he has an expectation. He should not be asking any questions or asking permission for anything. He should be giving permission. So you messed up here.
Yeah.
Yes.
By asking her a question, you're asking her permission.
Yes.
Right, because you're violating your own expectation.
He's justifying hers.
Right.
He's trying to meet her expectation, which is she can be ready whenever the fuck she wants.
Exactly.
He's worried about offending her. So you're suggesting my time is not important? He wants hey, is this okay? Am I wrong in some way? He's asking, can you judge me about this? Aren't I justified about this? Am I wrong in some way about this?
Okay.
Same thing is going on. Just a little different form, little different situation now. Okay.
So even though he wants her to just agree and her to ask his permission, he's doing it all wrong because of his habit.
It's the same habit that's coming out. I mean, if he was really punishing her, he wouldn't even, that would be so unnecessary to even say that.
Okay, but you can see internally as a guy, he just wants her to listen every state.
Yeah, but he doesn't know how to get her to listen, so why is he even saying all this other stuff? It is not even relevant if he wants her to listen. He should really be punishing her if he has enough emotional investment from her. He should just be, instating the punishment. So what is all this other stuff? Why is he justifying her when she is not fearing his authority?
Mm-hmm.
What's the point of that?
It's there is no point.
There is no point. That's exactly right.
Asserting his authority.
Exactly right. That's why if you understood this, you wouldn't waste your time justifying yourself to that French girl who you're talking to.
Yes, if I understood it and realized it, yes.
Exactly. So it's going to take practice. Okay,
Yes. And
let's,
Tom, I have a concern.
before your concern, NC-17, I have a question for you.
Oh God, yeah.
Can you explain this to me?
Explain this to you.
Yes.
I'm asking for permission instead of giving it.
Yes. And?
That's pretty much it. If I knew how to give my
So what would you put in brackets? I
would put in brackets.
Somebody could probably state this in 2 words. What would you put in brackets?
Inappropriate justification.
There you go. Okay, so what would you put in brackets, NC-17, if you wanted to be correct?
Inappropriate justification.
Okay.
Wait, and I want to kind of go deeper into this.
Okay, let's go deep.
That's what I was doing and I got lost. Anyway,
Let's go deep.
I think maybe deep down, a lot of us think she has the right answer. So you're asking, so you're thinking I'm not important or this and that. You're thinking she already knows what the right answer is.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, maybe.
I think so.
All right, can we go on?
That's just saying because we've given the podium to women for so long.
Yeah.
Doing.
Exactly.
I would say that's true. Yes, in a larger context, yes, I would say a lot of guys assume that girls are just smart and they know what they're doing. They know how to handle a relationship, so they kind of expect a girl to just know what to do.
Like I wanted
Especially in the media. they glorify female intelligence all the time. So you kind of get this feeling, you see all these news reports, girls are doing better than boys in school and all that. So you really think they actually know what they're doing.
Yes, I would say that's actually very true.
Well, also, you see an adult woman and you think, oh, she understands. Like, you still don't, like, when you don't get it,
You see them as peers.
Yeah, kind of.
Same thing. Okay. So, yes, those are great points. Thank you. Last part. Let's go. NC-17.
There's nothing else except for okay.
I can get you ever shit about Bub. Oh, no, there's something else.
Oh, that part?
Yes, this is the best part of all. Jar.
Yeah.
Get ready. Go ahead, NC-17.
I continue to give her shit about being late, but we end up going out and having a good time.
Okay. Comments. Jar.
I continue to give her shit.
I continue to give her shit about being late.
Yeah. Well, I guess it can't be considered shit if it's justification. I mean, I'm assuming.
Well, number one, we don't know what shit is, so it's not even, it's not clear. But I'm gonna guess this falls under the category of either whining, guilting, or nagging.
Yeah. That's just going on here now. That's just going on.
And also, I think it's kind of unnecessary. Like, he's not really clearly stating. So
Of course, it's unnecessary.
Yeah, it's.
Jar.
Even there's EM
Your
going on,
commentary is unnecessary, Boggles. At this moment, I'm asking Jar.
Well, no, he got it right. Boggles got it right. It's unnecessary, this part.
Good. I'm asking you, not Boggles. I continue to give her shit. What is that?
Well, we don't know what that is.
Okay, we're gonna assume. Let's make an educated guess.
Okay. So I said, yeah, and I think I tried to give what I tried to say is that we're assuming that he possibly, he just justified himself more.
Sound like guilty.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to get at. He's trying to give her shit about it. What's he trying? What does it mean when you're trying to give shit to people about something? Guerrero? Yeah, you're trying to make them feel bad about violating your expectation.
Yeah.
Even though it's not effective.
Yes.
There's better ways to make them feel bad, and that's to directly punish it.
Gotcha.
Yes, there we go. That's what I'm trying to get at here. This is falling under the category of guilting. I'm giving you shit about something. It's like, why were you being such an asshole when I told you to do that one thing? Why did you show up so late? I told you to show up this time. Why don't you ever show up on time? Why do you have to constantly do this to me? Why can't you be a cool bro? Why can't you show up on time?
Yeah.
Why don't you love me?
Asking a question to punish is a fail.
Yeah.
There you go.
There we go. I'm writing that down.
See?
Well, I can even think of instances where that might not work, where you're just being ridiculed. Like, what are you, a fucking idiot? Like, that could be technically you're asking them a question, but really you're punishing them by just ridiculing them and
Oh yeah, that's where the attitude.
But in general, yeah, Boggles has a right. In general, the sense of when you're asking questions, are generally asking something of somebody, asking permission, etc. In general, I would say that's true.
If you're asking permission and trying to punish, you're failing.
There you go. Write that on a T-shirt. Okay, last part.
I had a question.
Hold on, we're not done yet.
Oh, okay.
NC-17.
Fast forward to yesterday, we go out again. She's on time and keeps her word on her response times, and we end up in my bedroom.
Okay, with a little crazy chicken. All right, they're doing some crazy chicken stuff in the bedroom. Okay, so she's on time and keeps her word on her response. Was this due to... How am I going to ask this question?
Is this due to his proper expectation management skills? No, it's just probably because of emotional investment.
There you go. So as long as that emotional investment is there, he could coast on that. That's like coasting downhill. What's the problem?
Yes, at some point it might go down, the emotional investment.
Eventually there's not going to be a hill to coast down. There's going to be a hill to drive up.
So, NC, did you reward her?
Did I reward her? Yes.
Chicken sex in the bedroom.
I mean, other than that, is it good being on time or anything?
Yes, I praised her and
he let her blow him.
Nice.
All right, don't scrub that. Students who are listening to the podcast, don't pay attention to that. Okay, so I think we covered that. Excellent job, you guys. I think that was very educational for you guys. I think you guys got a lot out of that. I'm hoping you guys got a lot out of that.
I think I did, for sure.
But if you don't punish, eventually, even if you just keep rewarding and let things slip by because of EM emotional investment, she's still good. At some point, you're saying that emotional investment will die.
Yes, if you are not enforcing your expectations, that emotional investment will erode away.
Even if you're consistently rewarding.
Even if you reward her, if you don't punish when she is violating your expectations, that emotional investment, bye-bye. You are like an option. You are like a candy bar on a shelf of 20 different candy bars.
Okay.
You are good, but there's also another flavor over here. So, doesn't matter.
Okay.
Hey, Plum, are you gonna send me my prize in the mail?
I forgot to give you your prize. I was going to make you a little poster of me so you can put on your wall.
Make sure you sign it.
I got to autograph it now. Now I actually got to make it. Damn it. I think we're going to cut it here. I was going to cover one more topic, but we've gone way over what I expected.
I have a question.
Yes, quickly.
I don't understand how you can say, a relationship is a dictatorship. How do you justify? What's the reasoning? Like, how a relationship is a dictatorship? I can't, like...
Do you want to write that as a podcast topic and we'll cover it next time?
I wrote it in the Skype here. Yeah, I can write it in the podcast.
Why don't you write it in the podcast topipics? That's what that thread is there for you guys.
So concretely say that, like, even though it is, what is the reasoning, kind of? Yeah.
Thank you. Why don't you post that in the podcast topics? So that's what that thread is for. If you guys have topics you want to bring up on future podcasts, we'll have all the topics ready so you guys can go on. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, new students. Thank you for NC-17, who is actually NC State, for everybody that will be confused after hearing this. It was good to meet you. Eventually, you know what? I think next podcast, before we start stuff, I want to have everybody go around and just basically introduce yourselves and find out a little bit about you guys, because we have so many new students now that it's time to do like a little more meet and greet going on.
Yep.
Also, I don't remember whose turn it is for Bro Day, but it's somebody's turn. And they need to be beat. Whoever they are, they need to be beat because they're slacking. If somebody doesn't know, if we don't know if we can't find out whose turn it is for Bro Day, I'm going to volunteer 3 people right now. So who's next? DVP. You'll find out in the Bro Day thread because they're going to be sending you invitations. Oh, also, I wanted to make a special note. I know there have been people sending out cool invitations where they Photoshop something on them. If you can't Photoshop, if you don't have Photoshop skills or you don't have a program, MS Paint, whatever, I don't care how cool they look or how lame they look. If you put a picture of a duck and you scribble, "Hey, come to my party," I will be touched by that. Okay. I don't care how professional it looks. It doesn't have to be super cool.
Because I was thinking of that. I was like, fuck, I don't know how to do that.
If you don't know how to make a cool invitation, just grab a picture of something that is relevant or even irrelevant to your Bro Day and just send it and write the message underneath and just type it. The picture doesn't even have to be relevant to your Bro Day. So it would be preferable if you could do something in Photoshop or do something in MS Paint. I don't care. I like those little personal touches, but at the very least, just grab a picture off the net. Or even if you're that incapable of navigating the internet and don't know how to download a picture, then just write a text invite and just copy and paste it and send it to people who you're inviting to Bro Day. And for those of you who don't know about Bro Day, go read the Bro Day thread. You can also hear podcasts about the Bro Day, so it'll explain a little bit more about that. And the people who are leading the Bro Day should introduce what the Bro Day is about. How about that?
In their Bro Day.
Yes.
Right
okay.
In their Bro Day.
No, in the Bro Day. So the people that need to lead Bro Day should be signing up for it. So there is DBP is number 1. He's going up next week. Who's after him?
I'll do it.
Who's that? I'll do it.
Trey
is leading number 2. Okay. Who's the week after him? Boggles, have you done a Bro Day yet?
No, I'm not.
You haven't done a Bro Day this whole fucking time?
I'm ashamed and
you should be ashamed. We need you know what? I almost don't even trust you to remember to do a Bro Day number 3. So we need a backup in case Boggle screws up and doesn't do his Bro Day again. We need another backup.
John or Torero.
I want to do a Bro Day.
Who's
I'm
that?
going to do my Bro Day.
Who's that?
Boggles back.
Jar?
Oh, you're going to Bro Day all over your back, bro.
Jar. You're going to put a Bro Day on Jar's, on Boggle's back. Okay. So here's the order. Here's the batting order. And you need to sign up and remember to send out your invites. Look at the examples in the Bro Day thread if you don't know how to do that. If you don't know how to do it and you don't understand the examples and for whatever reason you're ultimately retarded, post in the student section or post in the Bro Day. Ask questions. Okay. You are not expected to know stuff. This is a common fallacy among students. You think you're expected to know things before you do things here. I expect you to read the ebook and do things like that, but I know most of you are going to fucking forget everything and not even pay attention to what I'm saying. So I expect you to learn by trial and error. Make posts. Ask stupid questions. I expect you to ask stupid questions. In fact, I will expect your question to be stupid. I won't expect you to form intelligent questions. I have the expectation that I must teach you things, how to do things correctly here. So go ahead and post your questions. If you don't understand something, post about it. Make a post about it. This is not just to get the answer to the question. Why do I also want you to post something?
Develop a relationship with the other students?
Yes, Boggles answered it correctly. What is the answer, Boggles?
Develop a relationship with the other students through your questions.
Yes, to learn how to develop a relationship, you're going to have to learn how to give incentive. When you answer a question, you're giving incentive. When you're giving feedback, you're giving incentive. That is the basis of forming a relationship. Anytime you're interacting with another student here, you're starting a relationship. So don't think it's just a minor thing to post a question, okay? So, again, post questions. Also, the people that I just named, DBP, Make sure you post something in the Bro Day thread.
Yes.
Who's the next guy?
Me, Trey.
Trey, you're next.
Yes.
Make sure you post something in the Bro Day thread. Don't forget to send out your invites. And who's the third guy? Boggles.
Yeah.
Boggles, you're going to post something. And Jar, you're going to post something. And in case Boggles fucks up again, you're going to take his place and do his Bro Day. So in either case, you're coming after Boggles. If he doesn't go, you're going to go. And if he goes, you're still going to go after him.
That's what I signed on for sure. Exactly.
Also, make sure you guys, it's not just good enough to, it should be good enough in a normal world to just send out your invites and tell people, hey, my Bro Day is going to be this week, this date. But because we know we have incompetent students here who are shy, who are dysfunctional, who don't know how to form relationships, etc., you'll need to practice taking initiative, which means you might, or not might, you should go around and remind students like the day of or 2 days of your Bro Day coming up. If it was me, I would just fucking bug the hell out of you. I would say, here's my Bro Day invite the week it's coming up. The next day, hey bro, my Bro Day is coming up in 5 days, countdown. You know, I would do that because that's me. I want to initiate social interaction.
Yep.
I want to cause relationships to happen, not just sit back idly and hope a relationship forms spontaneously out of thin air.
Yeah, and you have
Unicorns.
something to type in the chat.
Yes, we don't have unicorns at this academy. It does not work that way. So, again, you guys that sign up for Bro Day, make sure you post immediately in the Bro Day thread and get on that so we can have Bro Days coming up for the weeks ahead. Thank you guys again for joining us. We've gone way over. We're almost at the 2-hour mark, plus the other podcast combined on this one will be a huge one. I'm looking forward to hearing it, though.
Okay, it's actually 4 more minutes for 2 hours, but anyways.
Kill me now. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll catch you next time.